This is Malik Neighbors with the Tigers. Are you looking for a teammate to help you achieve your financial dreams? Join my team at Louisiana National Bank to experience uncommon banking. Stop by Louisiana National Bank and visit the friendly staff or online at ln.bank. Equal housing lenders and members of FDIC.
Insurance companies often discourage people from getting an attorney. If I can't get you more, even after our fee, then you owe us nothing, not even our costs. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Monday, August 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 101. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of Weekend Winners at 8 a.m. Bobby Carpenter joins the show at 8:15, and we talk to Holden Mayo for a new edition of Spread Lines at 9:15. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Yeah! Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, everyone? What's going on? Welcome back to myself. Welcome back to you as well to Off the Bench. As the boys are back, I was gone all last week. I missed y'all dearly. I know, Jake, you returned at the end of last week. Mara and Taylor, it's nice to see you both again as well. Picked a hell of a day to have my phone turned off the entire day on vacation, as last Friday I was whatever, especially when I go on vacation. I'm not, you know me, I'm not maybe the best at answering my phone to begin with, and then when I go on vacation, I kind of tend to double down on that, and so I do in those mornings. There's like it's dead. I left it in there all day. I'm hanging out or whatever, just going through, and we're at dinner that night, and my brother-in-law's sister's husband, this guy, he's talking about, like, I know. What do I call him? I mean, it feels just like a kind of extension of a brother-in-law, but it doesn't matter. The point is, he starts talking about, like, wow, that's crazy what happened with realignment and everything. Like, what happened? What do you mean? What? What? It's official? And then from that dinner conversation, yes, I went
I love the fact that you...
I was like, it's not a good sign. This is my job.
A college football podcast and this show every day.
I'm like, yeah, well, until any news breaks, like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And he's like, what are you talking about? They took the vote today.
Yeah.
So, yes. So help me out with my timeline here then, guys. Did we get to talk about this on Friday? I know they were putting it to a vote, I believe.
Yeah,
on Friday?
So on Friday's show, during the show, we knew that Arizona was probably going to go to the Big 12. Okay. So that's what we knew here. And at that time, Arizona State and Utah were still technically in the Pac-12. Mm-hmm. Now, we said on Friday there's no chance that Utah is going to just sit here and hang out in the Pac-12. We assumed that they would go to the Big 12. But the only team that was on the move Friday morning was Arizona. But then between this show ending at 10 and off-campus starting at 2, you had Oregon, Washington, Arizona State, and Utah all moving conferences as well.
And it's weird because, none of it was unexpected, right? Like, this was exactly what everybody had laid out for months now. Brett Yormark was very clear that he was targeting what he was calling the four corners. If you remember, just after Colorado joined, we had Ross Dellinger on, a week or two ago, And we asked about Oregon and Washington joining the Big Ten and how would that potentially work. What did Ross talk about? He talked about them taking a reduced payout in the first couple of years, right? Before the money would increase and then everybody could get their full payout. So, and that's a measure so that Oregon and Washington would not take away from the chunk of the pie that the other teams are
until 2030, I believe.
And so, again, none of it surprising. In fact, very smart people told you it was going to happen this entire time. But I guess, Jake, what's insane to me is even though I've talked about this for months and even though I knew it was all coming, I will be damned if it didn't feel way different than I thought it would when it actually became reality. Like, I don't know if maybe there was just some part of my brain that I wasn't acknowledging that thought this was all so drastic and so transformative that perhaps it wasn't going to happen. But now that it has happened, it kind of feels like a huge bummer in a lot of ways. And it's weird, right? I mean, you could pour one out for college football, really pour one out for college sports as we knew them. You know, and I want to be clear about the wording here. I'm not offering a qualitative statement. I'm not saying better. I'm not saying worse. What is undeniable is it's going to be different, vastly different than what you grew up on, than what we grew up on, than what we fell in love with in the first place. And it's like, I understand that all this is natural and the march of time is unceasing and, you know, change is inevitable and all these sorts of things. But again, the rate at which this happens is what kind of boggles the mind. I mean, just a couple of years ago, the landscape would have looked relatively unchanged for the past 30, 40 years. Sure, maybe a bigger stage, more eyeballs, a bit more money in the sport. But now you look up and just 3 years later and everything has changed. You have the birth of the super conferences, the death of a conference that has been around for decades and decades, a geographical monstrosity. It's again, I'm not saying better or worse. Like, we can have those conversations because I think there's nuance there, and in some ways it'll be better, and in many other ways it will be worse. But inarguably, it is going to be different than what we have known college football to be.
Yeah, I mean, we've had realignment in college football forever. Now, not to this extent. Like, you know, Tulane's got 3 SEC championships.
Yeah.
There was a Southwest Conference. I mean, there was a ton of different conferences that we could talk about. I mean, at one point, TCU played in the WAC. Well, the WAC now is an FCS conference. And so, like, we've had real movement and realignment. South Carolina, Arkansas joined the SEC. But, I mean, this is on a different level. It's on a different level because of how many teams are doing it, because where these teams are located, and how fast this gets done. Now, we have talked about it, T. I mean, I remember last year looking up when USC and UCLA announced they were going to the Big Ten, we started to look up the AAU list. Okay, who's on this list? Who would meet the academic requirements to get into the Big Ten? We saw Oregon and Washington. We're like, okay, it's kind of a no-brainer. Now, Arizona was on there as well, but, I mean, we thought, okay, here's 2 big brands, Oregon and Washington. It wouldn't be a surprise at that moment. But then it kind of cools down, and you're asking yourself, okay, does Oregon and Washington, do they want to be the pillars of the new Pac-12? And this new TV deal that we kept hearing about, it's coming soon, it's coming soon. Well, then it never happened. And then you would hear, you know, different rumors that it's going to be here. Well, actually, it's going to be on the CW. And, again, we popped off as many jokes as anybody. But then the ACC takes that deal.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's like Ion TV, and then it's talking about all these different platforms, and then it's Apple. And then Apple's like, we don't have to give you anything. Like, you have no leverage now. We are fighting against no one but ourselves. So we'll give you $20 million per team, maybe 21. We'll see how it goes. And with some incentives, maybe it gets up to $24 million per team. Nobody's going to take that. Not when the Big Ten and the SEC, their teams are about to make $80 million per year per team. And so you're talking about 4 times that amount of money. So if I'm in the Pac-12, I hate it, and I talked about it on Friday. I love that regions of the country had theirs. They had their conference, their teams. Well, no longer do you have that, and I don't like that fact. But I also understand if you're Oregon, if you're Washington, Utah, Arizona State, Colorado, I'm not taking $23 million when Rutgers and Vandy's getting $80.
No, I mean that's the. I read a great headline. I'll get the author's name next segment, but from Front Office Sports, the TV money created college football and then destroyed it, right? And I think that's very accurate in a lot of ways, right? Because it's what led to the insane buyouts that applied that pressure in the first place, that led to all the coaches and administrators getting more money, schools getting more money, now the players eventually starting to crack through and get pieces of that money, although no doubt about it, there's still plenty of fights to be had on the player front. They're going to demand a part of that TV revenue, and we'll see where that all ends up going. But yeah, the same money that juiced up the sport and that made it so great in the spectacle and gave players the best facilities to train in and reach their peak physical and mental potential and put the best actual product on the field. That exact same money in the end, like Jake just laid out, is what ends up destroying the kind of mystique, the quirky nature of college football. And that is kind of the biggest bummer to me, right? Is I used to love the ideas of regional champions meeting up for a giant face-off to determine an overall champion. It felt very much like a strange man in a strange land, where all of a sudden you're playing a team that they play like kind of a different style, and you don't really have much film on them. You never really play. It's all going to be quality. Don't get me wrong. Ohio State USC is cool and everything, but will it be as cool when it happens every other year? Like, part of the reasons why it's cool now, it's because it's rare and it's a treat. It's all going to be much more homogenous at this point.
I mean, we had Oregon and Ohio State a couple of years ago, and to your point, like, man, that's cool. Like, that's a matchup like we never really ever put together unless we're playing NCAA video game, and we get to see that matchup. And it's, one's in Eugene, one's in Columbus, but now, like, that's going to be a conference matchup, and it just does not seem right. And so, like, at the end of the day, like, we now know where everybody is resting for right now, and then we're like, okay, well, what's next? Because you have to ask that question with so much movement. But I want to ask what's next for the Pac-12, because they still have teams. Now, it's only 4. They have Oregon State, they have Washington State, Cal, and Stanford. Where do those teams go? And we talked about it a little bit on Friday, T. I don't know what happens with those teams, because Cal and Stanford, I don't really know what the buy-in is there, certainly at Cal. Okay, so, like, do they go independent? They probably be okay with that at this point now. But Washington State, like, per percentage of fans, they're third in the Pac-12 as far as filling their stadium. Oregon State's not that far behind. Oregon State just spent hundreds of millions of dollars on a new stadium, basically. They tore down every bit except one side of their stadium and rebuilt it. And they just spent hundreds of millions of dollars. So they want to play high-level, high-leverage football. But where do they do that? And if you're wondering, okay, does the Pac-12 merge maybe with the Mountain West? Does that make sense? Remember, every Mountain West team would have to cut a $36 million check to the Mountain West if they want to leave, because they missed the deadline, just like San Diego State did, and they were trying to, go back and say, well, we actually notified you with this letter before the deadline. No, that passed. They would have to give $36 million. And you might, like, for us who cover SEC football, you roll your out $36 million. Utah State ain't handing over $36 million. UNLV ain't handing over 36. Like, these schools aren't handing over $36 million. Wyoming, now they might, but how many would do that? And if they do that, how many are truly going to mean anything? Like, do we care if we get Stanford and Wyoming, right? We didn't watch Stanford and Wazoo. Why are we going to watch Stanford and Wyoming? Do you go and try to be creative? Do you add Eastern Washington, who's got the red field? They're pretty damn good in football. Do you add North Dakota State? They're a brand. Does that do anything for anybody? Sacramento State, really good at the FCS level. I don't know what happens to those 4 teams. I know 2 give a damn. I know 2 not as much. But this conference, and they came out and they want to still be a conference, I don't know that you can do anything because of the hurdles that the Mountain West teams have to clear with $36 million that they've got to give that conference. And if you added them, does anybody care? And can you add anybody else that means anything?
Yeah, I don't. Again, I think the only thing I feel confident about saying about the Pac-12 at this point is that they just won't be a relevant conference, not nationally relevant, right? If you're a real college football sicko, which many of us and many of you are out there listening, then yes, you'll still be maybe paying attention to those matches. In fact, maybe now you'll even want to go so against the grain that you'll be more incentivized than ever to watch whatever the Pac-12 looks like in the future. But here's one question I have, and I know we got to go to break here, but do we know in terms of automatic bids, when all of a sudden in 2024 the Pac-12 is clearly not a Power 5, what's the rule there?
Yeah, so the last word that I heard is now with all of the realignment and the dust kind of settling for now, it's like, is it really going to settle? They are going to kind of go back and take a look at it because you can't have Power 5 status.
Really?
You
exactly.
You can't. You have 4 teams. You have a conference that went from 12 to 4 overnight, and so you're not going to get an automatic qualifier. And again, we don't even know who's available to join your conference. It makes more sense to me that the Pac-12, the Conference of Champions, is going to be football-less. Like baseball, basketball, swimming, diving, all the things that they excel at, okay, that's great. But also, there's some big basketball brands. Can they add some teams in basketball that make sense? I mean, I don't know. As a football conference, the Sun Belt's better right now. And I'm not throwing shade at the Sun Belt. Y'all know I love the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt's better than the Pac-12 right now, even with the teams that they can potentially add. It's like, are you that much better than the American?
Yeah, I was going to say the American might be better as well. How about that? You mentioned football compared to some of the other sports. On the other side of this, let's think about that a little bit. Should this be a football move only? Like, does this make sense for all the other sports to have to follow suit with something that it seems like football has created? And then, look, we'll get to your comments as well. YouTube.com/1045 ESPN. If you want to go get involved in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, come hang out. It's going to be a fun, kind of weird Monday here on Off the Bench. See you on the other side.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. You can go on the website. You can start to explore the great collection they have. You can look at some of the excellent deals that they have. Remember, for military members, veterans, recent graduates of school. They always got great deals going on for you. Maybe if you want to schedule some service, you can do that on the website. But look, the bottom line is when you buy from All-Star Toyota, you are entering an ecosystem that always puts you, the customer, at the fore. That's when getting what you like, the exact sort of vehicle you need. If you want to customize anyway, certainly from a price standpoint, from a service standpoint, they're the absolute best. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, when you go to that website T just gave you, you'll see that they have a lot to offer. And they have a lot to offer certainly when you're buying new, when you're leasing, and when you are renting a vehicle. So leasing and renting, a lot of times you're going to get like 3 options. That's not going to be the case over at All-Star. You're going to get every option that they have available. Check it out all online right there on the homepage, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a
Sandiger join Jimmy Ott and myself for the next edition of Live at Lunch from Walk-Ons in Brewley. Short drive over the bridge. We're recapping the weekend and week 2 of LSU camp. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Change had much to say, but man, I still think them cats are crazy. They were asking if you were around, how you was, where you could be found. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. OTB, T-Bob, real quick. I want to ask you one question about you being out in California and finding out that realignment happened and that the conference that is headquartered in California, right? So Pac-12, like I know it's spread across Washington, Oregon there, but it feels like a California conference.
Yeah.
Did you hear anybody outside of your brother's sister's husband? Did I get that right? Brother-in-law, sister's husband.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Correct. Well,
did you hear
fiance, but
did you hear
I said husband.
Did you hear anyone else? I'm just curious. Like, this isn't rhetorical.
No, I get
Did you hear anybody else buzzing? Because think about it. If here in Louisiana, let's say we're just picking teams, let's say Mississippi State and Arkansas left to go somewhere else. Like even in Louisiana, it wasn't in our state. You'd hear about it. Like you'd hear about it in the streets.
Yeah.
Did you hear anybody talk about it?
No, I did not. Now I should. Well, and then also kind of to your point, even the guy I'm talking about is from Ohio originally. He's an Ohio State guy and is an orthopedic surgeon. So he tends to love football and the college football variety.
If you said OH,
specifically,
he'd say IO.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no, I don't. So. No, but then again, to be fair, I'll also say this: like, I didn't spend a ton of time milling about the general public. I kind of just hang out at grandma's house for the majority of the time, so maybe that would have been different. But no, it didn't even it didn't reach me through osmosis through like the television or just through general chatter or anything. And to be fair, we did go out to eat that night, so I don't know. I mean, it's maybe like what you're getting at, kind of is that. You know, maybe that's been indicative of how we got here in the first place. Because as we talked about, right, we more and more in the regions that really care, emotional investment becomes economic investment. And while economics was the driving force behind all of this. Here is one thing that I do agree with. I think it was Rick Pitino maybe tweeting about this yesterday. I think Eli Drinkwitz said something similar as well. But, like, shouldn't this all just be football only? Is that like aren't, I mean, those are the contracts. Like when we talk about these contracts from Fox and from ESPN, we're just talking about the football side of things, right? I mean, yes, there are there are smaller deals in place for the other sports, I assume, but like those are not the headlines. Those are not the numbers that we're discussing. You don't really care about seeing those matchups, quite frankly, in the other sports. They play so many games in the sports that travel is kind of made way crazier by it all. Like, I don't know, man. I guess there's a million, and also like when you look at the NCAA as a governing body and how we always talk about how it's like decrepit and old and
the governing body that doesn't govern.
Well, obviously, look, football got too big for it, right?
Yep.
And so it's all this talk about. I mean, already the college football playoff exists independently of the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like it just feels like college football is on such a different trajectory than the other sports, given that we are football crazy in this country, and CFB's number 2 right there to the NFL. So it's like, why doesn't it just become its own separate entity? I don't think I need to be a basketball player traveling to Rutgers to go play midweek basketball game.
Right.
It just doesn't it doesn't make. For us SEC baseball fans, and Oklahoma, Texas is pretty badass. So, there are wins in there. I'm not saying there's none. But for me, it just doesn't really make that much sense in any of the other sports.
Yeah, but again, like you could start in one SEC state, drive to every school in the SEC, and be in an SEC state during your drive. Like that's kind of one of the big differences of what the SEC has done compared to what the Big Ten has done. And Eli Drinkwitz, head coach in Mizzou, did have some comments. He said, did we count the cost for the student athletes involved in this decision? We're talking about a football decision, but what about softball and baseball who have to travel cross country? Do we know what the number one symptom or cause of mental health is? It is lack of rest and sleep. Traveling in those baseball, softball games, they travel commercial. They get done playing at 4. They got to go to the airport. They come back. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. They're going to go to class. I mean, did we ask them at all?
Yeah, that
is a part. Like we always, and I'm left hand up. We always say Rutgers. We always say Rutgers when it comes to it. Let's forget Rutgers. Let's go Big Ten, Indiana basketball. They've been ups and downs, but they are a brand.
Yeah.
Do we give a damn about USC, Indiana, and men's basketball on a Wednesday?
No.
At all.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, well, I'm not the best because I don't really care
but
about
I
college
am.
basketball.
I love basketball.
You love college basketball.
I love college basketball. That does nothing. And so, like Oregon baseball, pretty good. Indiana baseball's pretty good. Both in the tournament, right? Both have made a couple of runs.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. There's nothing to that. Think about when Flynn comes in here, Matt Flynn, not our boss. Like, and we say Missouri. He's like, are they in the SEC yet? Like that's what he always says.
Yeah.
And they've been in for over a decade now. And you could go across, and a lot of people have that belief. Think how long it took to accept Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. And Texas A&M is a bordering state. They're right there. And LSU and A&M used to have some great games back in the day. It took a game that we have never seen before, that there was 146 combined points for that game to do anything for anybody in this town. It took that kind of game. And that was almost a decade in. That was 8 years, 7 years, whatever it was. It is hard to go to a new conference and feel wanted and feel like you're a part. Nebraska still does not feel like a Big Ten team to me. They still feel like a Big 12 team.
Yeah.
Rutgers does not feel like a Big Ten team. Like, you can't just go into a conference and automatically be a part of that conference in the DNA, in the fabric, and for anybody to care about you coming to town. Now, football, a little bit different, but only in some matchups will we care about the 4 West Coast schools going to the Big Ten. It's not as easy as say, oh, yeah, A&M, that's a big brand. We'll care about that. It took a long time, and it took a unique situation for us to really care about that game.
Yeah, so it's like I think, again, in football, because the games are already so hyped up and they're these kind of massive tilts in which there's so much buildup, and then there's just 3 hours and there's all the payoff, and then you have to wait another week, right? Like, something like this travel makes a lot more, and I don't just mean the raw travel. I mean everything Jake's talking about, like new relationships, all this sort of stuff. It's more doable in football because there's that one singular moment. When you dilute that moment into a bunch of tinier ones, then it feels way more awkward, way more out of place, and logistically does become way more challenging. And so, again, I know nothing is done as if it was a perfect world, but I think if you could talk to almost anyone involved, that in a perfect world, it would be football only. It just does not really make that much sense for the other schools to do this.
So right now, like everybody's talking about us heading to more of an NFL system where it's AFC, NFC, and two major conferences. I don't know how close we are to that. I don't know that Greg Sankey wants that. And everybody's asking, what's the SEC going to do now? I don't know. I don't know what they do. Florida State's been incredibly loud.
Yeah.
Clemson certainly has been rumored if something ever happened. I don't know with the ACC and the grant of rights and the $100+ million buyout that you'd have to pay and some of the penalties that you would have there. I don't know if that's going to happen. But if Florida State and Clemson join the SEC, we are incredibly close to it being just three major conferences, and two of them being S tier and the Big 12 being right underneath them in like an A tier situation. I don't know that the Big 12 would fold. Big 12's got some real momentum right now, and it feels like they have a nice like space right in the middle. It's SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and then ACC, and then whatever's left out
the
west.
Big 12 is where the spirit of old college football will live on. Where, you know, I mean like the spirit that, again, that the sickos, that the real college football heads were into, which admittedly is probably not a massive number, right? It's not a driving economic number, but it's the people who are saddest about the news on Friday. Like, it may not be Pac-12 after dark anymore. Maybe now it's the Big 12 after dark, even though it's 16 teams. So you probably got to change it to like the Big 16, the Big Teen. Big Teen sounds a little weird.
Big Ten's going to have like 33 teams and be the Big 10.
Big 10 and the Big Teen. So yeah, I agree with you. They're not in an awful spot. If I'm the ACC, I'm terrified because it just feels like you can see the wild, hungry eyes of those around you turn. They're like feasting on the corpse of the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
They turn around, their smiles wide, teeth covered in blood, glittering, and there's just a maniacal glint in their eye as they look at you and they say, "Ooh, Florida State. Ooh, UNC, what are you doing over there? Oh, Clemson, come on." So, yeah, the ACC feels like they're potentially in trouble now. All right. When we get back, we'll continue. So I'm still going to come more angles I want to talk about. I want to talk about it from like kind of a storied narrative angle. And we're still going to get into Alvin Kamara and others. We got our weekend winners coming up. Bobby Carpenter, a lot to get to on today's OTB. So keep it locked. YouTube.com/1045 ESPN if you want to come hang out and comment. More Off the Bench coming up.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Get Gordon and get it done. 225-888-8888. I can't even begin to tell you how to keep up with all the stuff that they have going on over there at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you go and find them on social media at Get Gordon, it is insane. Their content drive right now is just out of control. A lot of your favorite athletes. Gordon McKernan sitting down with them, getting some insight into, you know, how they got here, what drives them, all these other sorts of things. You want to hear from Mason Smith, Harold Perkins. It's all there, right there for you. You want to design the next Gordon McKernan billboard? Well, head over to Get Gordon on Instagram. Go check them out. Get Gordon. Get it done.
You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and the artist formerly known as Twitter at Get Gordon is the handle on all of those sites. GetGordon.com is the website that you can have a conversation with them right now. And like we always tell you, whatever your area code is in Louisiana, follow by 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6.
Join me for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Football. Saints and LSU, we're talking about it. Hunt Palmer Show.
Taken, right? It's a shame all the writers are on strike because someone could get to work and make a pretty damn good story out of all this. Well, I guess kind of the problem is it's already been written, and many of you have seen it. It's called The Red Wedding. Happened to Game of Thrones, right? You know, a lot of times when we talk about this story, Jake, we've approached it from a Pac-12, Big 12 angle, right? And just looked at the relationship of basically the Big 12 looking like they're desperately in trouble after losing Texas, Oklahoma. They're reaching out their hand. The Pac-12 slaps it away, and, you know, a year later, is it 2 years now? 2 years later, the tables have completely turned, and it's Shakespearean and all of that. But what we've forgotten in discussing this is the role that the Big Ten played. And if you remember back to the red wedding in Game of Thrones, Jake, where they go to Walder Frey's house, they think they're going to,
yeah,
nice little celebration. Walder Frey broke an ancient rule, and it echoes rules like this in real life. He broke guest right. When you have somebody under your roof and you share salt and bread, to then betray that person is something devious, kind of an affront to the gods. And I wonder if the Big Ten has any sort of punishment from the gods coming down the pipeline, because that's essentially what they did. Remember, right before the Big Ten started the Pac-12 downfall by taking USC and UCLA, they are the ones who proposed the alliance with them. Yeah. They invited them into their home. They, like I said, they shared bread, salt, milk, water. And all it really was a fact-finding mission. They were trying to get into those books, see who's happy, who's not. It was never really an alliance. It was reconnaissance. And the next thing you know, there is the Big Ten sitting up there today laughing, saying, I never needed all of you. I only ever needed parts of you. And now I've taken those parts, and good riddance. And then they let the chips fall where they may, and it opens the door for the Big 12 to have their own incredible comeback story. But I feel like the Big Ten's kind of getting a bit of a free pass. And granted, I'll say this. Yes, the SEC started this all with Texas and Oklahoma. And so Greg Sankey, the blood knows his hands arguably more than anyone. But the SEC was naked conquest. There was no subterfuge. It was, we are more powerful and we are taking these lands for our own. The Big Ten was devious in how they did the Pac-12. They were dishonest. And now they sit too, again, responsible for the shattering of college football as we knew it.
The alliance is almost something that I forgot about because it was never really a thing.
Yep.
And just imagine thinking that you could have a handshake agreement over something that's that serious and something to that magnitude of what you thought it was going to be. And lo and behold, like, you have this alliance, and you, like you said, you take one of the pillars. Now, UCLA is certainly a great foundation piece, but USC is a pillar of what the Pac-12 was.
Probably the main pillar.
You could certainly argue it. Now, I have had this conversation over the last couple of days. Oregon and Washington, both of them have made a college football playoff. USC and UCLA have not. Last year in the final revenue, Washington finished 19th, Oregon was 21st, USC was 23rd, and UCLA was 24th in overall revenue. And so, like, that's a big question. But to your point, I mean, USC.
I'm talking about modern, though. I'm talking about, like, all time. You think about the runs that USC's had. Like, they've had, in the 70s and early 2000s, they have runs that stand up there with the runs that any school has ever had.
Yeah, but I'm more making an argument for Oregon and Washington also being pillars of the Pac-12. Yes. Washington's won a national championship in our lifetime.
True.
So, like, that is, you can't keep your foundation up when you lose pillars. Like, you can keep it up if you have a pillar, maybe two. Like, it might be wobbly, but you can keep it up. So that's why, like, Oregon and Washington, I'm like, man, you're not dead yet. If you can keep those teams and you can just add something, like, you can do something that would help move the needle, you'll be okay. It will hurt, but you can stabilize yourself. Once they lost one of those schools, it didn't even have to be both. Just one of Oregon and Washington, it was all going to come crumbling down, and now it certainly has. And, like, you can make the argument Oregon and Washington leaving your conference was as big or bigger as UCLA and USC. Like, look at the scale of it. Look at Oregon, Nike, and Phil Knight, and how cool it's always been the last 20 years to talk about Oregon, to wear the uniforms. And NCAA, you're picking Oregon because of their uniforms. Like, they are a massive, massive brand. And then again, Washington, being in Seattle, there's a real buy-in. Like, you have a conversation with Scott Woodward, he would tell you this. There was nothing that he wanted as the AD out there that he couldn't get, because there was a buy-in and they had resources and they would do things, whatever they needed to do to try to be competitive. Now, they weren't always competitive, but you go and you hire Steve Sarkisian to be your coach. Like, you can make major moves there. And so.
Did Woodward hire Peterson?
I think he did. Did he?
Hell of a hire if he hired
Did he?
Peterson.
Did he? But to the point, like that's a guy that
I'm
we
just
never.
saying, I don't want to mention the Steve Sarkisian era of Washington. the
Well, I'm
Chris
saying,
Peterson
but you're
era of
able to go get a
Washington.
coach that's a Texas coach now.
Yeah,
At a place like Washington, which is just kind of my general
Chris
point.
Peterson to leave Boise when he had
Exactly.
every
When he was
opportunity in
never,
the world.
yes,
he was
he
never
had
gonna leave
he had
Boise.
like 7 times he could have left, but he didn't. So you were never going to be able to do that. And now, like the Big Ten, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but they just went out there and got outside of Florida State and Clemson, like, and you can debate Oregon, Washington versus Florida State and Clemson. Like, we could do a deep dive into it. Like, they got the biggest brands out there.
Yeah. And adding 2 more West Coast teams does help a bit with
Without question.
some of the
now they
geographical issues.
you have to play all 3 of those teams every single year. And there's no, you can't even argue, like, you have to play those.
Yeah,
every
just from
year.
a pure logistical demand.
Yes, just from travel, and it saves you just now. LA and Seattle are not close. If you don't know the West Coast, it is not just like it's up the road, but still it's a better than going across the country like they're going to for like even West Lafayette to LA. That's a trek. And that's in the middle of the country.
Scott did hire Peterson at Washington, by the way. It looks like he was there through 2016, and Peterson got the job in 2014.
Let's go. So Sarkisian didn't get fired. Sarkisian left
To go to USC, yeah.
Right, to go to USC. Hey, it's a hell of a hire for Woody, dude. That's
Imagine that.
Yeah, I know. Imagine that, right? All right, when we get back, I think let's put a bow on realignment for today, and
Until
and then
Bobby comes on.
Hour number 2. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess hour number 2. Then what do we? We're just gonna break it up a bit. More off the bench coming up.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552 is the number, 925-8552. When you overthink it, don't overthink it. Go to Central Plumbing, guys, okay? Look, there's a lot of do-it-yourself stuff you can do at home.
But doo-doo's not one of them?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But yeah, doo-doo's not one of them. It's very complicated. You can make things worse. I've done that before. You drop a piece, like whatever. The point is, you call Central Plumbing. They got 24/7 emergency service. They got flat rate pricing. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. They've been at it for 50 years, so they can fix it all because they've seen it all. It's not just residential; it's commercial as well. It is a true one-stop plumbing shop that has stood the test of time. CentralPlumbing.org.
If you've been waiting to upgrade because it's been the summertime and you've had the children at home and you didn't have maybe the ability to have someone in the house and upgrading that restroom, well, you can now do that. Kids going back to school, go ahead and upgrade today, centralplumbing.org.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, I'm happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. LSU back on the practice field, and we'll speak to the players for the first time this fall camp. We'll let you know what they said. Join us Monday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
So I'm talking the Rose Bowl, the chat about the Rose Bowl, what happens to it. It's just a playoff game now, right? Aren't all the... Yeah. There's going to be no more conference.
Yeah, last year...
Are there even now, I guess?
Last year was the last year that it was going to be Pac-12 versus Big Ten with Utah and Penn State.
Yeah.
I think in the next... I think this year it's a semifinal, and then it's going to become part of the rotation of the new 12-team playoff. So last year was the last edition of what we've always known for it to be a Pac-12 Big Ten game.
Yeah. I mean, if you weren't like if you're one of the semifinal games and there's no conference tie-in, so it's just going to be like there's going to be no conference tie-ins because there's just going to be playoff games.
Yeah, Sugar Bowl won't be what it's always been with an SEC school. Like that's going to be also a part of the playoff, obviously. So.
Any more thoughts on realignment? Again, look, I don't want to be too somber today because I like it. There are going to be some very cool elements to this. I also feel like there's an element of like when you kind of like I agree with taking like some time to grieve for what you knew. But maybe what I don't know that I agree with is that there will be many who will say, it could have been fixed, it could have been stopped, this could have happened. And certainly, look, maybe more could have been done in certain places, and maybe in a more perfect world, the Pac-12 navigates this better. But like at the end of the day, this is just the reality of the big business of college football. Business is booming. There's billions and billions of dollars being generated by the sport and more being generated every year because even weird stuff like as we move into a more on-demand content consumption society, Jake, like sports are the only things that we show up live for. What does that mean? Advertising during sports gets even increasingly valuable, right? So money goes. So it's like, it's not just even the sport itself. Like there's a ton of world elements coming in to create this sort of inevitable push towards more money. How do you get more money? How do you give it more advertisers? You can make even better matchups. How do you do that? You make better teams play each other. And these better teams are going to get better players because they have more money and they're on the big stage. And you end up with what we've said for ages now, basically NFL light, which is fine because it will be great, but it just will be different. But I guess what I'm saying is like be wary of just being one of those people who's just so living in the past that you just can't accept what has happened because it was always kind of inevitable in some sense.
I got asked a question over the weekend. Why can the SEC not go to 9 games? Because they want more money for that 9th game on TV, but the Big Ten can add Oregon and Washington with their TV deal already done. Oregon and Washington are taking a partial payment until 2023. It might be 29, but I think it's 2030. 2030 is the year where they get their full payment. So for them, they can do it because they're still making more money in that deal than obviously they would have in the Pac-12, and their media rights deal that's kind of non-existent. So they agreed to take less money. That's how they can get that done. The SEC schools are not going to take less money. If you're going to add a 9th game, they want more money per school. Who gives them that money? The TV company gives the SEC that money. The SEC gives their member institutions that money. So that's why there's a difference there. Oregon and Washington were willing to take less because it's still more for them, and the SEC does not have additional revenue right now from that 9th game.
Also, that Big Ten game is not that long of a contract, is it? Isn't it up again for renewal in like 8 years or something along those lines?
Yeah, they didn't do the old 2036 that the ACC did.
No. So then when you renegotiate, okay, well, you renegotiate as full members and you get whatever the payout that everybody else does. So, man, I can't, it's so funny. It's so funny how the real journalists that come to the show lay out the breadcrumbs sometimes. Like Ross Dillinger told us that this was the hypothetical, but even when you've seen it, I didn't hear much conviction in his voice, and yet here we sit, and Ross was exactly right about what was coming down the pipeline and how you make Oregon and Washington to the Big Ten work without upsetting the other schools' payouts. All right, when we get back, hour 2, let's take a break from realignment for now, okay? Celebrate the weekend that was with another edition of Weekend Winners. Get your Weekend Winners in the chat, youtube.com/1045 ESPN. We'll get to him next. And then we got Bobby Carpenter, the freaking psychopath meathead, coming to 8:15, more OTB. Keep it locked.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Get that winning feeling from the gridiron to the diamond and beyond. The DraftKings Sportsbook app. Look, Moneyline's parlays. You already know. You can bet all your favorite sports. Take shots of the big wins. And if you haven't signed up for DraftKings yet, download today. Use the promo code Baton Rouge, all one word, promo code Baton Rouge when you do. And if you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Instantly, guys, okay? And remember, though, all customers, new or old, can always take your winnings to the next level. The DraftKings same game parlays, where you got a single game you want to bet on, maybe some Uzbekistani in soccer like Jake or something. You can do multiple bets and you get that even bigger payday when it's all said and done. So again, download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Promo code Baton Rouge. 21 or older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility, deposit restrictions apply. Terms of sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball. Terms licensee partner, Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Monday, August 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 101. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of Weekend Winners. Coming up next, Bobby Carpenter of SiriusXM joins the show at 8:15, and we have a new edition of Spread Lines with Holden Mayo at 9:15. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB, hour number 2. Okay, finally got some coffee, feeling good.
Well, T-Bob, when you were out last week,
showed up to Starbucks today.
The air was out. So it does feel good and cold in here. I want to see, can you see your breath?
It was a little warm last week.
They had
I had pants on today, which helps.
They had, I know, I dressed like the air was still going to be out. They had the most Cousin Eddie looking. It was coming out of the window in the room next to us.
Yes.
This huge, what do you call that?
A window unit.
Well, I mean, it was a window unit,
but it's set right here. It was almost. It looked like a dehumidifier type.
Yeah,
thing.
it
It
looked
had
like
a giant tube snake, all
yes,
the way
coming
across
across
the
that
room.
room into this room. Not even like a window unit. Like you said, it looked like a humidifier or something, blowing like spurts of cold air.
Hey. I get, interesting times call for interesting solutions.
Do you know what the AC was just on when I went over there before the show to check? 64.
Yeah. We got a lot of equipment in this room.
Well, you got some units in this room, too, and I don't want to be that cold.
I'd be interested to see the actual air temp. And I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know.
I turned it up to 68. Get mad, Bo.
It's
cold.
You did? You just unilaterally touched the thermostat?
From 64 to 68.
Ooh, I know you're a dad, so I suppose you're allowed to, but I don't know. That feels like it's not like...
Well, because you know who's not in here? The person that turned it to 64.
No, I get it, but you're technically like the dad here, and I don't know if Bo's the dad here. Maybe he's kind of like the dad here because the equipment's his baby. Nope. But I mean, in my house, if you touch the thermostat, my old man was, borderline going to kill you.
Yeah,
it was.
I'm
scary.
ready to risk it all.
It was scary the few times my older sisters. I never did it. The few times my older sisters touched the thermostat, I got legitimately worried.
All right. Well, I'm just
Oh, man, I'm about to have a new roommate this week. I feel like that's going to be an inevitable problem.
I mean, what do you sleep with it on right now?
72. 72.
It's not bad. I think I've actually gone to maybe even, that would have been crazy to me at one point. I think maybe even I've gone up there. Maybe I'm still at 70. I'm not sure. I think y'all could probably make that work, though.
Hopefully. It worked fine with Danny. So
I used to be a 68 boy, but that's a
little 68 at night.
It's a little too cold for me nowadays.
We've had this conversation. There's some psycho behavior. I forget which one of them. I think it's Taylor.
Taylor's I'm like 76.
73, 74. I'm like right by Mario.
Okay,
it's
never
not that
mind.
bad.
Shut up. That is awful. Like 72 is the cutoff. That is the ceiling. So 73 to 74 is the height of absurdity. All right, let's dive in to some weekend winners.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do. What's that? Win the whole thing.
Ooh, 66 at night or I can't sleep, says Gulf South. Damn. Okay, dude. All right, my first weekend winner. Taylor, do you have those videos ready, by the way? I'll start somewhere else until we do. The box office. Big winner again. As movies it's deeply ironic that at a time when both the writers and actors are on strike and Hollywood is at a standstill, they're on as much of a heater as they have been on in about a decade. Barbie just hit $1 billion globally with a B. Huge win for Mattel. Oppenheimer hits $500 million globally. That makes it the top World War II grossing picture ever made, beating out Nolan's own Dunkirk, actually.
What a flex.
How about, dude, are you going to take the boys to see this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
They already saw it.
It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's like supposed to be awesome.
Yeah, they've already seen it, too.
Do they like it?
They loved it.
It's got like a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's 90 plus both
my
audience
wife
and
loved
critic.
it.
That's what I heard.
Of course, they all went when I was on off campus, just sitting there, just working.
Yeah, not like the 80s kid who would have cared at all to see the reinvention of the characters that he grew up loving.
Exactly.
That's pathetic.
Favorite Ninja Turtle?
I don't know. I always like the one with the bow staff.
Donatello.
But see, okay, so here's what's weird about Ninja Turtles to me. I remember loving it as a kid.
Yeah.
I especially loved Turtles in Time, the video game.
Yeah, it was great.
But like, I don't actually have that many like
You're
details.
a little behind it.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know how nerdy I normally am about stuff. I just feel a little ignorant when it comes to TMNT.
Yeah, that was a big part of the foundation of my childhood. Was Ninja Turtles. Michelangelo is the correct answer for me.
He's like the
meathead,
the muscle meathead leader.
Just not kind of spacey, whatever. Just wants his pizza. Wants to enjoy some pizza.
Let's have okay.
Cowabunga.
I will say, so Seth Rogen wrote the movie.
Yes.
Apparently, made $43 million on a 5-day weekend. Shout out Mutant Mayhem. Also, the movie, I remember loving the movie growing up and watching it all the time, but I kind of remember nothing about it. Remember the ooze, but I don't know.
Kevin Nash played Shredder.
Really?
In his live-action movie.
It was Kevin Nash?
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. Jackie Chan apparently is the voice of Splinter in the new one.
Yeah,
which
I heard he was actually pretty funny.
And then the best movie, The Meg 2, opened to $142 million worldwide. Yes. Oh my God.
With awful ratings, but it doesn't matter.
Take a bow. We're so dumb as humans, like giant shark, Jason Statham, you son of a gun, I'm in.
I mean, I'm like that.
I saw it this weekend.
Oh my God!
I did.
No. Out of all the movies in theaters right now, Mission Impossible, Barbie, Oppenheimer.
Well, so I've already seen Oppenheimer.
Okay.
So I liked the first Meg. This one was terrible.
It's rated like it was terrible, but you think they care?
Now, the first Meg a couple years ago wasn't bad. It was like a Jaws. Like it wasn't bad.
Look, here's the deal, and my wife gets on me all the time. I know exactly, and I mean exactly what I'm getting into. Jason Statham, giant sharks. I know what I'm going for.
Yeah,
and I
sure.
know it is not going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be somewhat entertaining.
Oh, it was entertaining.
Exactly.
Did I enjoy it? I mean, it was good, but the first one was better. This one wasn't that great, but yeah, I saw it.
The Meg 2 just went too commercial. Just lost a little bit
Opening
of it.
weekend, Taylor went and saw the Meg 2. Okay.
I know.
Meg 2, The Trench.
So I'm a big Jason Statham fan. Like,
I am
just
too.
Look, if you can make Crank 2, you can make Meg 2. Okay, once you make Crank 2, all bets are off.
Crank 1.
I've actually went to the movies 3 straight weeks.
Look at you.
Okay,
For the first time in a while. Yeah.
It is a little bit of
For the first time in a while. But like you were
I
saying,
used
like
to
all the
live
movies are out
going
there.
to the movies like once a week, and then I started having kids right when AMC and everybody else was like, you can pay like $10 a month and go all you want.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, what's up, guys? Where's this when I was in college?
I used to give movie reviews to Fox Sports Radio.
Ugh.
Not anymore.
Mara, what you got? Week winner? Or Jake? Who were we at? No, yeah.
Hester,
Just
rotation.
the box office. Yeah.
I was going to go one that I think all of us were probably going to go and all of us would have had in there. I know T-Bob would have, and it's Messi. What he's been able to do in the MLS. And again, like, this isn't just because of what you think the MLS is. It's more of a Messi thing. Like, he is just that good. Because, look, he's still cooking like the best defenders in the world in the World Cup. He is so good. I mean, yesterday, like, he scores the opening goal within inside the first 10 minutes. And then they get down, though. They get down 4-2, and he brings them back with an incredible free kick to tie it up at 4. And then they go into
minute or something.
It was in the 85th minute, so they tie it up at 4, and then they go, because it's a cup that they're playing for, they go into extra time, and then they go to penalties. He converts his penalty.
Oh, I missed
Inter Miami wins on penalties, and they were down 4-2 to a good FC Dallas club. Like, FC Dallas is a really good club. It's got really good players that play for multiple national teams, but it doesn't matter because Messi is the GOAT. And I've always been a Ronaldo fan, still am, love Ronaldo. But, like, what he's doing at this age, and again, I know it's the MLS. The MLS has got some pretty good players, and he is just toying with people
Plus,
out there.
Ronaldo's playing for Al Hilal now. So it's like he can't really, he can't lord, like, playing elite soccer. No, Messi's passed him up. You know?
Yeah, that's sad. And he has the international hardware now, too, winning the World Cup with Argentina. I'm also a big Ronaldo fan. I've always been a Real Madrid guy, but Messi, I think, is passing him up.
I think Messi's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
When they were down 3-1,
argue.
there was a sign on Twitter getting a lot of run where a guy had, don't Messi with Texas, talking crap, and look at what happened. Dude. Okay, what you got?
All right, from football to football. Shout out to Alvin Kamara, getting ready to broadcast Saints games this Sunday.
Getting ready.
Yes, sir. He's only getting suspended 3 games. I think that's a good thing. I thought it was going to be a lot more. I thought he did a good job, too, of saying all the right things, showing accountability, saying he embarrassed the city and his mom. Didn't have to say all that stuff, but he did. I appreciated it, and it's a good thing. The Saints running game needs to be better this year, and I think they took one step closer to doing that this weekend.
We'll go more in depth to Kamara in a bit. I feel like it's about what we said, right? Didn't we think it might be 4 and then maybe negotiate down to 2 potentially? But
yes, that's what
once you get 3, I kind of doubt you even appeal that.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you just probably take it and move on. Chuck Bro says Messi selling tickets everywhere. Good for the league. I agree, Chuck. You need to do a Messi piece. That'd be pretty sick. I'd love to see you take a crack at that. Chuck's a painter.
Chuck was in Friday.
Oh, really?
Did you not see the canvas that I had up in the office?
No, No.
The office that you spent probably an hour in this morning?
No. Well, I got here late, so I didn't actually spend that long.
It's the first thing that you see when you walk in.
Oh, no way.
You can check it out during the break.
Hell yeah. Shout out Chuck.
He had one. Okay, so he had one for you, but you weren't here. And so he's going to come back and he'll
I love it.
Mine was bigger.
I'm used to that. It's not the, what you do with the painting that matters. Thank you. Taylor, what's going on? What you got?
I want to give a shout out to Dallas Cowboys Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn continuing to make waves in training camp.
Speaking of size.
Exactly.
You can hate the Dallas Cowboys, but you got to pull for Deuce Vaughn. The videos I see every weekend, it's like I watch the Dak Prescott interceptions, and it just infuriates me, but then seeing Deuce Vaughn just puts a smile on my face. So shout out to Deuce Vaughn.
Look at, you should have had Deuce Vaughn video ready to roll here because One of my favorite things to do during this NFL training camp season is looking at videos of Deuce Vaughn because it legitimately looks like a child playing with adults. Not that looks outclassed, because no, he's doing well. To be clear, like I've heard he's gonna
hell of a football player.
I've heard he's repping with the ones. Like he's gonna have a big role, but just from a pure size standpoint, it is comedic at how tiny this man looks. It's been so long since Darren Sproles, you kind of maybe forget a little bit. I mean, look at this guy, dude. Oh my God, it doesn't even look like he's looks like a halfling, like a hobbit out there.
Oh, that guy didn't make that tackle either. That's one of those defensive guys. Oh, I got you. No, he broke that tackle.
You got to see the videos that I texted the group, Taylor, of him taking on the blocks. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I still have a lot of winners I'm going to get to, and it's fun to talk about other things, but so we'll revisit this. I don't want to be too late for Bobby. Let's go talk to Bobby, and then we'll revisit and pick up some more winners and losers on the other side. Bobby Carpenter, noted Ohio statesman, host of Off Campus on Sirius XM 84 with Jake, also host of, what is it, Juice?
The Morning Juice.
The Morning Juice. How's he doing our show if he's on The Morning Juice?
Eastern time.
Oh, okay.
And he just finished up at 8 Central.
All right, cool.
He's 6 to 9 Eastern, I believe.
Okay. Bobby Carpenter coming up next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail.
Sandiger, join Jimmy Ott and myself for the next edition of Live at Lunch from Walk-Ons in Brewley. Short drive over the bridge. We're recapping the weekend and week 2 of LSU camp. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Right now, it's our pleasure to welcome in a football great, Jake's co-host on Off Campus, Sirius XM 84. A man who brings the juice every morning, quite literally on Morning Juice, and a man who I witnessed the other day online to celebrate his 40th birthday, who decided to challenge himself to his old Ohio State conditioning test, which consisted of 20 half-gassers, y'all, 20 half-gassers that had to be made in 17 seconds with only 30 seconds of rest. I wish I had the linguistic skill to communicate just how hard that is. Bobby Carpenter, what's up, man? How are we feeling today?
T-Bob, I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. It's a long, long weekend up in Canton, Ohio. You get together with some of your old teammates and friends, and those nights run really long. But it was a good time up there, and while I was having a good time enjoying that, college football and the West Coast was just falling off into the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, okay, and then look, we're going to get into all of it. Bobby, what possessed you, though? Because, again, when I ran my last 110 at LSU, I swore to God that I would never touch another one again. I can still hear in my nightmares the 15, 16, 17. What in the world possessed you to go out and do that conditioning test?
Well, Bob, I mean, chasing immortality, I guess. You know, one day I won't be able to do that anymore, and that day is rapidly approaching. It was easier from a standpoint of psychologically. I knew how tough it was going to be, but I wanted to continually challenge myself. But you can slowly begin to feel your faculties fade away from you, the things that made you the ability to play, you know, collegiately or professionally. And so as long as I still have those, I still feel a little bit better about myself. And I'm just trying to keep that dull knife as sharp as possible for as long as possible.
Not today, Death.
Yeah. Bobby, also a sign that you're getting older, not only because you're in your Mike Gundy year, but because, like, when you start going to Canton because of teammates getting enshrined into the Hall of Fame, that's usually another sign, Bobby. Getting a little long in the tooth there, Bo.
It is, and it's getting even longer when I'm trying to wake up on Saturday morning and Sunday morning afterwards and then get ready to go for another round of it. So,
did you do the show with Plank Saturday?
No.
Okay,
no.
Good.
No, listen, that was a full-on entertainment, enjoy yourself, see your guys. We had the Gold Jacket ceremony on Friday night, and so they introduce all the Hall of Famers, and they go through the tunnel, and it's awesome. I'm thinking, man, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock, get back to the hotel, get a good night's sleep, tomorrow will be great. And then like a handful of guys like, hey, why don't we go out and have some drinks at this place called Jersey's across the street? It's like, sure. Yes. And we go there about 10:30, and next thing you know, it's 11 or 1:45, and I'm leaving there in a far worse state than when I entered. So the deal. They played this game. That's what we get into. It's called Buffalo, where whenever they catch you with your drink in your dominant hand, you have to drink like Southpaw all night. You have to kill it. And so I'd never played before, and so I was definitely not great at it. And it was killing me is what was happening.
Oh, my God, dude. I haven't played that game in over a decade, probably.
I love it, though.
Bobby, I got to stick on Can for a second. So you're there celebrating your former teammate, DeMarcus Ware. Okay, when a group goes to the bar, are we talking mainly all old, salty NFL vets? Like, I have to imagine that these stories that are told in that circle are some of the greatest stories of all time. Just a bunch of old Warriors kind of reliving the glories of the past.
Oh, it's fantastic. And it helps keep you young. You start talking about all the stuff that happened, the stories, like you said. And it's, very rarely is it a play here or play there. You start talking about, the rants your coach has, or, you played with this coach who was crazy in individual drill or whatever it was. And that's the stuff you miss. And we talk to guys, we're all there like, does anyone really miss playing? Not particularly. You may miss a game here or there. You don't miss how you feel afterwards. It's like you miss what we were doing there. The plane ride back, or a Friday night in the off season, or a Sunday night after a game, or a Monday night, or whatever it was. Getting everybody together, going to dinner. The wives were there. They were all talking, and it's like a time warp because when you're around guys from a certain point in your life, you immediately are like transported back in your mind. And so to go through all those old stories, talk about everything, relive it all, it was really a blessing.
All right, Bobby. So you and I did radio together, I believe, on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. That's the last time that we did a show together. And we talked a little bit about realignment, but we weren't really sure what was going to happen. And then Roddy and I are doing the show on Friday. And by the time that we got to Friday's start time, you had 2 new members of the Big Ten in Oregon and Washington, and, of course, some new members of the Big 12 as well, with Arizona State, and Utah and Colorado had already come over. How quickly all this is coming together as well. Even though we've talked about it, it's been rumored, and we look up, you and I and T-Bob and I both, like we looked up the AAU schools and who meets the requirements to get into the Big Ten, but I can't believe just how quickly all this is kind of changing and coming together. You are right there in the middle of Big Ten country. Like, what's the thought of, like, Ohio State fans adding all these West Coast teams?
So what's interesting is, we're doing the show in the morning just like you guys, and my co-host and I, we put together our poll for the show for the station that day. And we asked, the question, I think on Thursday, would the Pac-12 exist in 2025? And I think it was 80-20 yes. And then we go to Friday, and some of that stuff's happening, and they're like, what's the poll? They go, that's the same damn question again. And by Friday, it had split to like 75% said no. Yeah. And that's how fast that whole thing turned. And I think people in the Big Ten are happy for the most part. Oregon and Washington, they're 2 big-time brands. That's when I talk a lot on off-campus, aka Meathead Radio, about, the football they're playing there and where Washington and Oregon are. They've got strong fan bases. They invest heavily in their athletic department. They care. People show up. It's loud. It's raucous. They watch them on TV. So it fits with a lot of the premier Big Ten schools, whereas in a lot of the rest of the Pac-12, there's kind of an apathy towards football, and that's what you don't want to add is programs that you don't feel like have the same passion or the same, give a crap factor, which Oregon and Washington both check those boxes.
Yeah, and it's an odd thing, Bobby, because how are you feeling about it all today emotionally? Because certainly, like, none of it is unexpected, right? We've talked about the 4 corners being targeted by the Big 12 forever. Talked about Oregon and Washington following UC, USC, UCLA forever. Certainly, from a TV matchup standpoint, it is exciting. We're going to have big brands playing constantly against one another. We're moving into the 12-team playoff era. And so I maybe not from a better or worse standpoint, but, like, it's going to be different, right? And I guess I just found myself over the weekend absorbing it all a bit, kind of a bit bummed more than I thought I would be, because I should have like already processed these emotions, but something about the finality of it, something about it actually seeing it happen, it just it felt a little more real, I guess, because it is. How are you feeling kind of as a fan or like emotionally about this sweeping change taking place in college football?
I thought this was probably a couple years off. You could see it happening. Yeah. I don't know if anybody, Esther and I, we joked, 2 years ago it's Oklahoma and Texas. Last year it's USC and UCLA. This seemed like the year where there weren't going to be any big dominoes. Notre Dame has been stoic and they're not blinking. So you thought, okay, the ACC's locked in. Pac-12, okay, they're trying to keep it together, but they should be able to keep it together for a few more years. And it's a little bit troubling. I understand it. I'm not going to be angry or mad about it, but it doesn't mean you can't be a little sad. The fact that, what's the Rose Bowl now? There is no Pac-12 essentially anymore, the way that it was comprised. So, losing an entire conference that for so long was so important to the sport, it doesn't feel right. And the fact there won't be any major conference out there west of the Rockies. There is a little sadness from something that you grew up with. My parents grew up, with my, grandparents. It's just been so long, and to watch it dissolve so quickly is kind of surreal.
Bobby, does the dust ever settle? And T-Bob and I were talking about that earlier because we've had realignment in college football forever. I mean, we could go back and we could talk about the old SEC, the Southwest Conference. I mean, Penn State, a lot of people think Penn State's been in the Big Ten for 100 years. They were an independent team for a very long time, right, before they joined the Big Ten. I mean, there's been realignment throughout the history, but now with how fast it's happening, how many teams are moving, and the map not really mattering to where you're located, to what conference you can play in, do you think this is, okay, now these are the rumored things that we talked about for a long time, we'll kind of hit pause? Or do you think with Florida State and Clemson looking like they're trying to maybe get out of the ACC, that it's just going to continue to spiral?
So, you look back at this, and, the first stuff was happening, obviously the Southwest, the merger with the Big Eight and how that looked, and Arkansas leaving the SEC. Okay, that's kind of one little round. Then you had some of the independents, Miami, Florida State, and Louisville, you were joining the Big East, the ACC. And then kind of the next big down was that Penn State falling in there. And everything kind of stayed pat for a while. And those weren't any, real poaching from one conference to another. And the first dominoes then you had were Nebraska and A&M, leaving those storied rivalries with, Texas and with Oklahoma, and joining the SEC and joining the Big Ten. And then since that point, I mean, we've just been on this course for consolidation at a rapid rate. There will be some more. I don't think the Big Ten's done, but I don't think they're searching. I think the SEC is probably in the same boat. They'll discount buy. They will value buy. They're going to wait for things to happen. Florida State basically saying, hey, we'll get a private equity group coming in that's going to help fund this so we can exit and find a more secure landing spot where it will ultimately benefit us in the long run. That's real, and that's a big piece of it. And then ultimately Notre Dame will eventually have to do something. And so I think that's why the Big Ten's not doing anything now. Save a couple of spots, the same thing in the SEC. But I don't feel that it's done because there's a couple more prize entities out there that as those two conferences will take, but they're going to do it on their terms and not on the terms of anybody else.
Talking to Bobby Carpenter here on Off the Bench, professor of finance as well, I believe. Is that correct?
He is a professor of finance at the Ohio State University.
Wow, unbelievable, man. So I want to ask you about the Ohio State University, Bobby, because look, Michigan's finally turned the tide. They're being picked to win. When I look at this Ohio State team, though, I mean, look, it's the Ryan Day era. I know the quarterback's going to throw for 40 touchdowns, okay? But, what will be the difference this year, do you think, if Ohio State's going to get over the hump and if they're going to win a national championship?
Well, it's going to be consistency on the defensive side of the ball. That was last year. They got a lot better with Jim Knowles. Obviously, gave us some big plays at the end of the season that cost them critical games. And so they had a lot of players returning, and some of the guys, took their COVID year. They came back, and you look at great teams. It's really hard to churn guys, every 3 years, every 3 or 4. You can have a couple guys that are 4 or 5 year guys that can help steady the ship. That gives you a leadership component of it, and I think it can enhance your team immensely. And, Ohio State has that now. They seem to be in a good spot with where everything is on the defensive side. They've got a number of guys. I think 9 or 10 starters are back. Of the top, 14, 15, 16 guys, most of those guys all return too. They've got a solid rotation. So that side of the ball, is going to have to play well and make sure early on that they can maybe carry the team a little bit and be able to make those plays, be consistent, and not give up the home runs.
All right, Bobby, before we let you go, I want to ask you about LSU because obviously we talk LSU every single day, but it's always fun to get someone who's not in the Southeast, going to get your perspective on what you think the Tigers can be this year. High expectations for LSU. Looks like they'll be in the top 5 in the preseason. Got a big matchup with Florida State. So how do you view LSU there in Columbus?
I told you last year, man. My brother played for BK, coached for him. I was like, he's going to get it right, and he did that really quickly, probably faster than I think a lot of people thought. So with that's going to come the elevated expectations. I mean, this Florida State game will be huge. I think losing that game for either team isn't a backbreaker, but it gives them zero margin for error after that. So you're going to have to run the table at that point if you want to continue to move forward and be able to have a chance to get in the CFP and win it. So winning it, that's a huge boost. I think it gives you a lot of credibility. I think that'll be a great game. I mean, Florida State's geared up. This is supposed to be the best team they've had in a long time, and I know LSU is right on that same track. I think they win the West. I think they're better than Bama. I feel better about their quarterback situation. And I think BK is not someone who will be out-coached by Nick Saban consistently. He will win his share of battles with that. So I like the roster a little bit better for the Tigers. It's just a function, can you stay healthy, and how's that FSU game look?
Yeah, and we are so close to the FSU game. Cannot wait. Football season right around the corner. Bobby Carpenter, thank you so much for joining us this Monday. True Renaissance man. I hope you enjoyed Canton. I hope you enjoy this week, and hope you enjoyed Jake this week. We'll talk to you later on.
Thank you, too, Bob. You forgot in there, too, famed Middle-earth historian as well.
Yes,
so
also Megan Nerd as well, which I apologize. That's on me, and certainly we'll get that in next time. We'll talk to you later, Bobby. Take it easy, brother.
See you, Bob. It's good to see you guys.
See you, Bob.
God, look at how thick his neck is. Go back to the picture, too.
I know. The general.
When I draw, I used to love to draw comic book characters, and I'd always love, like, when the neck like starts at the ear and it's wider than the jaw.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good look.
Yeah. I mean, true Renaissance man. I mean, he's basically the mayor of Columbus. I mean, he's a professor of finance. He owns this huge HVAC company there.
What?
So if you watch the All 22, like how we're going to do this football season when we go to our PFF and we watch, the actual film and not just a TV copy. If you watch Ohio State, you know who's flexing on the scoreboard?
Oh, he's the sponsor?
He's a sponsor.
Wow.
But when you're on the scoreboard there in the shoe, can't hide money.
No, it's big money.
Can't hide it.
Shout out Bobby C. All right. When we get back here and off the bench, we'll do some more winners and losers coming up next. Good luck.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, I'm happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Go
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want.
Join me for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Football. Saints and LSU, we're talking about it. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. Everybody back. T-Bob, Jake, Mario, Taylor, we're all here hanging out. It's been a very fun Monday, feeling juiced up after vacation, locking in for football season. You know, I've seen video of Garrett Nussmeier and Jay Dillon on air, and they look pretty damn good, guys. Look pretty damn good. Let's do some more weekend winners and losers real quick here. Yeah, and get those. You got those videos ready for?
Yeah, so he can get the videos ready. We went around the room, player that we were most excited to see in the first couple of days of LSU's training camp. I went with Aaron Anderson. You went with Omar Speights. Taylor, who'd you go with?
I went with Caleb Jackson.
You did. Who would you go with?
Oh. So yeah, we can move on because I don't think my answer is exciting at all. But I mean, it would be Jaden Daniels.
It's your answer.
It's so chalky and boring.
It doesn't matter.
But like everything hinges on Daniels. If Daniels takes the step, then LSU's national championship relevant. If he doesn't, you're a good 10-win team, but not what you were. So. Yeah, like I want to see does Jaden Daniels suddenly have that kind of like when he's out there, can you see the aura oozing off of him, the kind of leadership and all that? We'll see.
Did you see Lance Hurd walking in?
No, but I bet you he looked good at 53.
Best looking 53 I've ever seen.
Yeah, besides me, I agree, dude. I agree. You forgot the last part of your sentence there, but that's cool. We're so on the same page that I finished it for you.
That's right.
Weekend winner, Brooke Tafton. You're like, who's Brooke Tafton? He is the guy that cracked the one-of-one Magic the Gathering one-ring card written all in Elvish. Do you have the TikTok?
In Elvis?
We don't need the sound, or you could do the sound for this. Do the sound. Just a quick video. This is him right after he got the car, Jake. Random pack. Look at my guy's hand. Oh my God. So if you're listening on the radio, he is shaking. Not trembling. He is legitimately shaking. But because of course he is, because he knows what he just found. The best part about this is not some whale collector who has like millions of dollars and bought like 1 billion boxes. He went to his
like
local
the Willy
game.
Wonka situation.
Yes, he went to his local game shop. He had some pre-ordered. He's like, hey, y'all got any extra boxes? He bought 2 extra boxes, and then he ends up cracking a card that he later sells, now officially, to Post Malone for north of $2 million. So what's wild is the full story. I did a dive on this last night. Brooke gets the card, which again, love that it's just a regular dude, and he loves Magic. His first purchase after he got paid was more Magic cards. So he gets the card, calls a lawyer. You know, they get in touch with a firm that's going to help him sell it, blah, blah, blah. They say, what is your dream for this card? He says, my dream is to sell it to Post Malone, who apparently loves Magic. He bought that Black Lotus signed card for like $800K last year. It was the largest Magic sale ever. So they're entertaining some buyers, whatever. Nothing's happening yet. And then he randomly he's at work because he just went back to his job. He does retail. He's at work and he gets a call that, hey, leave work right now, grab the card. Post Malone wants to meet. And he thinks he's just going to like meet him, probably take a picture with the card or whatever, and then move on. And here's a quick video. This is the Twitter video, Taylor, in which Post Malone tells him he's, hey, I'll take it.
So give me something. Yeah, I'll take it. Light a cigarette just so I can breathe.
So he goes from just thinking he's going to meet Post Malone, then as he shows him the card, Post with a casual, yeah, I'll take it, agrees to pay what's rumored to be somewhere in the range of $2.5 to $2.6 million for that card. And you can see Brooke, he immediately start crying. It's just awesome. Like, you know what? Weekend winner Post Malone for having that disposable income as well. Like,
Post Malone's everywhere right now. He's on the Canes advertisement.
Yeah.
I know he has the theme song for college football for ESPN this year. Now we're seeing him again. Post Malone on fire.
Yeah, shout out Brooke Tafton.
Still always tired, though.
Always, hell yeah. I saw him at Voodoo Fest, and it was freaking awesome. One of the best shows I've seen.
Real quick to stick with the card talk, weekend loser, Blake Martinez. Remember the NFL story we talked about, Jake, the guy who quit the NFL to sell Pokemon cards, making more money selling Pokemon cards than he was in the NFL. Great story, or so we thought. Well, he's been banned from reselling cards on Whatnot now for scams. I went deep on this too. It's not worth explaining the nuance, but it just classic scummy behavior, scamming his customers, audience, people who trusted him. And it's just so sad to see such a good story blow up so quickly. So no shout out to you, Blake Martinez. Huge shout out to you, Brooke Tafton and Post Malone.
So what was he like? Was he not like
I can explain
delivering on his promises?
No, it's like it's weird.
I don't know that
man.
world.
It's like okay, like a quick example. One thing they were doing was on Whatnot. I guess you like live. You can buy a pack and they'll crack it open live and then like you get what's inside or whatever. And I think they were selling them for inflated price maybe, but like they were playing some game where it was like guess the energy, right? And if you guessed what energy ends up being in the pack, you got like a $75 bonus or something. Well, I guess the people opening know the energy that's in the pack, and you can clearly see on the video as the person goes to pick up the pack they're supposed to open, they have another pack palmed, and it's like so obvious.
Oh.
It's awful. And that's just one small. So they were just they're just cheating their customers, man. Scummy behavior. And now he had built up this great thing, and now he blew it up overnight. Greed. Imagine that. All right, when we get back, let's close out hour 2 of OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to iticollege.edu, iticollege.edu, where we are celebrating 50 years of taking care of Louisiana students. And I want to be clear about this, Jake. We always talk about, you want a career and all the monetary benefits and career benefits of ITI, and that is all true. But sometimes, Jake, I think you can be overwhelmed by the process, right? I don't know where to start. That's maybe the actual best part of ITI, how they take care of you. They want you to come out. They want you to tour the campus. They want you to know the facilities. They will schedule the classes for you. They will sit down, right? They will help guide you into maybe what you think works for you in terms of a career. They do everything they can to ensure your success, okay? And they've been at it for 5 decades. Local, family-owned, right there off of Airline Highway. Change your life today, okay? Follow in the footsteps of so many who have benefited so greatly. ITI Technical College, iticollege.edu.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. LSU back on the practice field, and we'll speak to the players for the first time this fall camp. We'll let you know what they said. Join us Monday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. Off the Bench, closing out hour number 2 here. Still going to talk Saints. You got spread lines coming up as well. In case you missed it, Alvin Kamara suspended 3 games. He did meet with the media on Friday following practice, saying, quote, "Poor judgment on my end. Definitely a bad decision, but I'm a man. Anything I've ever done in my life, I've stood on and I can take accountability for. I can say when I'm wrong, and I was completely wrong. I embarrassed the Saints. I embarrassed my family and my mother. I embarrassed myself. I embarrassed the city, and I embarrassed the NFL." I think that ultimately when it comes to apology-type tours, things like actions are always going to speak louder than words. And I think when you look at Alvin Kamara as a whole, his actions have spoken well of his character. Certainly that was a bad moment. But like in terms of things to say, that's pretty unequivocal about kind of it taking responsibility. Like, it's funny. I mentioned that Blake Martinez guy.
Yeah.
He has a big apology video where he even starts crying in it, but he never actually admits to scamming anyone. It's like, well, why are you crying, apologizing if you still are not even owning up to what y'all were doing? So, good on Kamara. Glad to see this. Seems like it's finally behind the Saints after 2 years of hanging over their heads. And now, look, you make it through with Jamal Charles and Kendre Miller, those first couple games, and then you get Alvin Kamara back.
You have a running back room with Jamal Williams and
Jamal Charles tore us up in 2012 with the Chiefs.
I was going to let it go. Mario's like, oh
Jamal
my
Charles.
gosh.
Yeah, he played with Priest Holmes, right?
Yeah, he tore the Saints up that one time in the dome.
Dude, Priest Holmes is a dog, too, back in the day.
He was.
Like, he had that one
both
year.
UT running backs?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Larry Johnson, too, was a beast.
Who was Priest Holmes' best?
You have a very, very stout Saints running back room. Like, even with the Benjamin loss, like, no disrespect to him, but you've got guys. That's not a worry. Like if you're going to use AK once he comes back, but you went and signed the guy that led the NFL in touchdowns last year, was over 1,000 yards. You selected one in the 3rd round for a running back to be selected in the 3rd round. That's a high draft choice at this point. So no, you'll be okay. You got to weather the storm, and then when you get him back, you got 3 guys you feel comfortable about.
Bruh, how many touchdowns do you think Priest Holmes ran for in 2003? 1,400 yards.
I'm going to say 23.
27.
Oh, my God.
He had 21 touchdowns in 2002, 27 touchdowns in 2003.
That is ridiculous.
I remember a lot of fantasy owners were all like head over heels with him. Hour 3 coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to AccuTemp of Baton Rouge, AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. For all your AC, heat, and electrical needs, go to the best, okay? And do not take my word for it, though I hope we've established some modicum of trust in our relationship through the years. But if not, go look at the online reviews for AccuTemp, which are simply spectacular. And again, your AC is probably working overtime. You want to avoid you having any catastrophic issues down the road. Look into the Star Club membership where it's a flat fee and they do all the work. They stay on top of everything for you. AccuTemp of Baton Rouge, AccuTempBR.com.
Yeah, once you go to the website, you'll see a little chat pop up, right? So they're going to say, hey, can we help you with anything? So if you can't get to the phone right now, maybe you're already at work like we are. I have actually used this in the past. I've been on the show, couldn't get to the phone, obviously, so I would schedule my appointment online. You can do that as well, but you can ask them a question, any concern you might have, they can answer it on the website, AccuTempBR.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Monday, August 7th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 101. Coming up on OTBOT, Hold the Mayo joins the show at 9:15 for a new edition of Spread Lines. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB, hour number 3. Been a fun day today. Glad to be back in the saddle. Spent some time lamenting, college sports kind of drastically changing. Again, better or worse is subjective. What is objective is that it's going to be, completely different than what we used to know. So we'll see where it ends up going. I will say this, the Pac-12, in the greatest of all ironies, it's kind of up there with, the box office exploding as everybody's on strike, Jake. The Pac-12 is set to have their most exciting year in forever. Yes. They have all the quarterbacks. They have a ton of good teams. It actually deeply, deeply sucks for fans of the Pac-12. I guess actually, you know what? I guess it doesn't suck as bad as it could. I guess the worst thing would be everybody being crap. And then it all falling apart. But, kind of, like I said, a bit of an ironic element to that. Some other moments.
I do hate, though, sorry to
go ahead.
Jump in there, but I do hate the fact that they are going to have their best football. I talked about it on Off Campus a ton. Like, you have 6 teams that are going to be quality teams. It's beyond the quarterback. Now, the quarterback's the main position, so you obviously have that added element to it. But when you start talking about Washington and USC, UCLA, Oregon State, Oregon, Washington State was actually not a bad football team. Arizona's
Beat Wisconsin last year
on the
They were
rise.
good, 7-6.
And Colorado, even like the great unknown of what Colorado is going to be, there's going to be some really good football. But every time that Oregon and Washington play, the announcers are going to have to do what? They're going to talk about it. Every time that USC and UCLA play, they're going to have to talk about it. Every time that Utah and Arizona State and Colorado, they're going to talk about it. And so it's going to take away from the student athletes who are out there doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is thriving on a football field.
Yeah, I'll say this. At least it does complete the 2024 gene of college football, right? We are truly doing this thing all in one fell swoop. New conferences, new playoff,
it's next year.
Divisionless football. Yes, it is the reforging of college football as we know it, and it's all happening in 2024.
Hey,
I just feel, again, Oregon State, man. That's what I feel bad for.
I know.
They're moving in the right direction. They got a great program. Like, again, what happens to someone like them? Is there any way? I mean, it's a top 25 team. Is there any way they can find a way? Because, like you said, Stanford, who knows if they care? Their endowment is such they can fund their entire budget off of the interest off of their endowment. Like, Cal doesn't, they don't seem to care maybe either. But like you said, Wazoo and Pullman, they're crazy about their sports. But even Washington State, like, I could see Washington State joining Mountain West and those fans being just as happy and still going to the game and still be completely insane.
I agree.
Oregon State feels like a team who has higher aspirations than what they're kind of being shunted into at this point.
Yeah, and you lost your partner in Oregon, right? I mean, you lost a rival. You lost somebody that you had these back and forth, and I don't know what they call it now. It used to be the Civil War game. I don't know what they call it now. I know they changed the name of it, but I feel bad for them, and I just, again, we don't know where they're going to land or if they're going to land. But remember when the Big Ten and the SEC, they both released their 2024 schedules because you had new members. Everybody wanted to see who's playing who, and they had this huge grid where you had to like zoom to see who was playing who. They got to redo that.
Yeah.
They have to completely redo that because they're adding Oregon and Washington.
One thing that will not change is LSU USC in Vegas to open up a classic SEC Big Ten matchup.
Not the only Big Ten game they have that year. UCLA is the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They played both schools. I forgot. Wait, so do we have has anything happened in LSU camp yet of note? Boys, did I miss anything when I was out? Like I said, I saw some practice videos that were just basically quarterbacks throwing on air.
I wouldn't say that you missed any news.
Not really.
The only news that I saw is Major Burns is still rocking the neck roll.
There you go.
We talked about that on Friday with Wilson.
John Emery officially back with the team, too, as of last week.
Okay.
That's another note, I suppose.
The saga continues. No, that's of note, I would say for sure. Like he has a role to play.
How about the LSU running back room? What day did we talk about that, fellas?
I think Thursday.
That was
Thursday.
Yeah.
You've got Williams. You've got John Emery. You've got Noah Kane. You have Logan Diggs. You have Armani Goodwin. You also have Trey Bradford, who's back.
For the third time?
Yes. And Trey Holly, who is the all-time state's leading rusher in high school football.
And then Caleb Jackson as well. So you got 8 guys.
You have 8 running backs right now.
It's good. I mean,
it's not a bad thing, and I'm all for a running back by committee. And the young guys, obviously, you're a freshman, you'll get your turn, but that's 8 deep. And you have to also figure out, though, T, and you know this, you have to figure out, because 2011, you had the same situations we had in 2007. You got to figure out what everybody does well, what they do best, when to insert that person into the game plan and line up, which downs to insert that person, the feel of the game when to insert that person. That's going to be a challenge for Frank Wilson, the running back coach, to know and suggest which guy in which situation. And then obviously Denbrock and Kelly putting the game plan together, because you don't have a running back by committee just to have it, in my opinion. You do it because everybody deserves to play, because they bring something different to the table.
Yes. Or they bring, even if a skill set is similar, they're just both good enough to where, like, it behooves you to giving both carries. But yes, I think ideally, like you're saying, everybody maybe has some sort of differing skills, and maybe having more of your power back, more of your speed back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, oh, but doesn't that make you predictable? Well, that's when you self-scout and you zig where they zag, and then you get unpredictable because you have the power back in and you're like throwing him a swing pass or he's going out on a route or you know he starts lined up in the backfield and then you shift him out to the slot or something like that. Like you can get as creative as you want to be, certainly. But again, so you just need to find an adequate answer at running back, and there's enough people there to get an adequate answer and then some. And then again, I just think it all comes down to Jaden Daniels, man. Do you take the step? Can you take advantage of a wide receiver room that is filled with talent? I do love your answer, though, on maybe the player you're most interested to see with Aaron Anderson, because, again, I don't know what offensively his role is going to be, but if you look in the return game where LSU struggled mightily last year, you would think that Anderson would just slot right in and immediately be the guy.
If he can catch the kick.
Yeah.
And if he can return it longer than 12 yards, which was the long and punt return game last year, you've already won. 12 yards.
12 yards? How do you feel as someone who made a career in special teams, who scored multiple special teams touchdowns in a year, seeing a team of LSU's caliber having a season-high 12-yard return?
Oh, I hated every bit of it. I was so angry about it because not only playing special teams my entire career, but playing special teams at LSU.
Yeah.
When I was a starting tailback, being the right guard on punt. The left guard on punt was an All-American safety in Craig Stelz. The gunner was an All-SEC receiver in Early Doucette. I'm talking senior year.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you got to go up there and have Malik Neighbors out there at gunner or have Josh Williams at right guard, but it meant something. And it was something where we knew it would help us win games. Did we always do it? Not every single time. And as soon as we got a lead, a lot of times we get out of there. I'm not going to act like we didn't. But if we were playing an SEC game, if we were playing Florida or Auburn or Alabama, we were in there in those situations because not only did it mean something to us, but again, it helped us win football games. And so last year, you look at it cost you the Florida State game without question. You muffed punts and you got kicks blocked, okay. Tennessee game, I realized what the final score was, but there's not a worse way to start a game than how they started that game.
It just made the Tennessee game, like, you probably lose that game anyway.
Yeah.
But it made it to where it just wasn't. It was over. It was over 30 seconds in.
From the opening kick.
30 seconds in, it was over.
So, yeah, just get a guy back there that is dangerous, that can catch the football first and foremost, and that has a plan. And also, like, when it comes to, covering kicks and everything, like, they weren't bad. Like, field goal kicking ended up being good last year after they figured out how to block the edge.
Yeah.
I thought the punt team did a lot of good things, but the return game was – you have too many athletes. You got too many dudes for it to be a long of 12 yards. And then at a place like LSU, you should never have a token fair catch guy.
No, you're supposed to have somebody who can
should
score.
Never have that. That's what they had, though. They had, hey, we just got to catch this thing.
So it's like, and I'll give a pass because the state of the roster when you took over, but now with another full recruiting cycle, another full transfer portal cycle. Yeah, and you made a change coach-wise. Like there's no free pass to be given.
It was something where that Brian Kelly knew and went out there and didn't wait around. Like he knew it had to be better. He knew also it could be better.
Yeah.
And he's talked about that. And that was a big thing for me. Because he had somebody he's coached for a long time with in that position.
His hand of the king.
And he knew that he had to make a change at that position. He did, right? For whatever reason, for whoever's fault it was, there had to be a change made. So you make that change, and now you feel much better about it already. With the ball not even being kicked yet, you feel better about it.
You saw who Papa Collin chose to win the Natty?
I did not.
LSU Tigers.
Did he?
How about it?
Okay. I knew it was either LSU with the way you said that
or
USC.
Dude. No. He come on, you know him. USC would be too on brand. LSU's a very kind of, if you're an out west guy, LSU's kind of a sexy pick, right?
Yeah.
Because you avoid the kind of boring monolith of Alabama or Georgia. It's just simply too early for USC.
Monolith. What does monolith mean? I have no idea.
Monolith is, it's actually kind of dumb because I mentioned two teams, right? But they do feel kind of monolithic in nature. But like a monolith, just like a giant singular kind of like a building or statue that just kind of
I'm gonna use that later
towers
today
over
on
and
I wrote
a very dark poem about the state of college football that I'm deciding whether or not I want to read or not.
Well, actually, I look forward to that.
But the word monolithic is in it.
Monolithic is going to be so I have like a first day of first grade meeting with Memphis's teacher later. I'm going to find a way to get that in there to sound smart.
Also has avaricious.
Yep, that too. Write that down for me.
But anyway, I do have a bit of Snaps news I need to shamelessly talk about here. Apparently, through some way or another, we owe Jeff Bezos. How do we say it? Bezos.
Bezos.
Really? Wow. Okay. And Bezos is going to get his. So we are not going to be live on YouTube. We're going to be live on app. You can download Amazon app, whatever. We'll still be uploading everything, all of our videos to the YouTube channel, podcasts on Apple, Spotify as normal. But I'm trying to get the news out there. Unfortunately, no more live YouTubes for Snaps for the foreseeable future.
What?
Yeah. It just, it is what it is. You guys should download the Amazon app. And again, you can always subscribe. You just Google Snaps Podcast. You can find it. And then youtube.com/@volumesnaps. Constituting a massive, undifferentiated, and often rigid whole. That's a great point by Greg. It's not just about like the size of the thing. It's about it being very like samey. Like when I think of monolith, I just think of like a giant, massive black block, essentially, right? Or just like dull gray, like some of those old Soviet Russian sorts of buildings. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. It's annoying, and it's not a Colin decision. It's not an anything decision. It's but if you want to continue to support the show, you can you could download AMP, which sure. But then also youtube.com/@volumesnap.
Okay, it's a setback, but to be fair, a lot of us don't have the opportunity to watch things live, so the best way to combat that is to go subscribe to the Snaps YouTube channel. Yep. That way you can watch it on your own time, that's how I actually take in Snaps, because usually I'm getting ready for off campus. And so that's what you need to do. Just go ahead and subscribe to the channel.
I think AMP has a live chat. But I don't know if we can see it. Like, look, we're going to, again, this is very breaking news for us. And I'll know a lot more by the end of today, but the podcast will be uploaded at the regular time later today for sure. All right. When we get back, let's do some spread lines with our guy, Hold the Mayo.
OTB OT.
What's happening, y'all? It is my distinct pleasure to welcome in a new sponsor. Let's go, dude. We love those who support us. And the latest to join the OTB squad, the locally owned Community Steel. And it's pretty incredible, man, because when you're talking about a Community Steel, you're talking about one of the few mills in the area that sells not just locally here, but to the public as well. And that sells, imagine this, Jake, with actual people. That's right. If you're a contractor, okay, you're in Ascension, you're Baton Rouge, St. James, Assumption, no matter where you're at, you're a contractor, you need your steel parts fabricated. Imagine this. You can call a phone number, 225-647-2020. That's 225-647-2020. And you can talk to an actual live sales team. Okay. Not robots, not just the website. It's all there for you at Community Steel, 225-647-2020.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after
Charles Hanniger joined Jimmy Ott and myself for the next edition of Live at Lunch from Walk-Ons in Brewley. Short drive over the bridge. We're recapping the weekend and week 2 of LSU camp. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Welcome back to OTB, and right now you already know it's time for some spread lines with our guy Devin Snow, who has now been immortalized. A mural. Dev, the heater continues. Okay, for all the condiment boy losers and haters out there, you cannot keep my guy down. Dev, what did it feel like to see a literal mural on the wall next to you? Or for you?
I haven't seen it in person yet.
Oh,
but,
that's
I
not you in the picture. I assume that was you in the picture. Is that the artist in the picture?
Yeah, I'm not just like T-Bob. I'm not going to walk around and go look at pictures of myself on the wall.
I think you just said
I'm serious.
I think you just said everybody in the parish looks the same.
Relax. Okay, I didn't say that. I hit a backwards hat on. To be fair, I was kind of like, isn't it? But I don't think it's absurd at all to have somebody paints a mural of you to go check it out. That's cool as hell, man. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah, no, that thing.
Yeah, it's super dope. Shout out Dago Arts. What a great artist. You know, New Orleans has a bunch of like just underground artists, and like I know a lot of them. And he's probably like one of the top ones, man. He'll draw whatever. But yeah, dude, he did that literally in a couple hours.
What?
The only thing somebody said was it kind of looks like a Mexican version of me.
Hell yeah.
Like not like with the mustache, but you know, it's like not Snow Like John, it's Snow Like Wine. You know, it's it works for me either way.
He did emphasize the mustache to the point where I was like, does Dev have a mustache? And I've just never really noticed it before. But it's a beautiful piece of art, though. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, no. It is, man, and getting a mural down here is that's like getting a star in Hollywood.
Yeah,
you know, it's
True.
like the equivalent.
True. Dev, what's been occupying your time lately. There's been fights. I'm seeing fishing highlights. Saints camp is underway. We got the Kamara news. What you been ruminating on?
Well, we can start with the Saints. You know, one thing I never said about the Saints that I'm just kind of starting to realize and makes me that much more excited for the season, the Saints don't play an elite quarterback this year. I mean, the best quarterback that the Saints play this year, and embrace yourself for this, it's Kirk Cousins. Like there's no, like, we don't play Mahomes. We don't play Burrow. We don't play Allen. We don't play Herbert. We don't play Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. You know, dude, start high, bro. Them first 4 games, you don't, I mean, Tannehill, that's it, bro. I mean, you got to win. Those first 4 games, we got to win at least 3.
Bryce Young at Carolina, then 2 Green Bay, which even with Jordan Love, maybe sneaky hard because their defense should be good. And then you get Alvin Kamara back just in time. Ooh, Alvin Kamara in the Dome returning against the Bucs October 1st. Love it. Boys, what do we think? That's a
well,
the Saints should be 3-1 coming out of that if they're going to be as good as they think they're going to.
You face a lot of potential. You've got Bryce there with Carolina. You got Jordan Love with the Packers. You got C.J. Stroud with the Texans. You got Anthony Richardson with the Colts. You got Justin Fields with the Bears. So, yeah, a lot of really talented players, but young players, which you should, with your veteran defense, be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, that and that kind of scares you too, because I mean the Saints have never really done too well against
rookie
quarterbacks. Green quarterbacks. Yeah, it's,
who could forget RG3?
So I guess we really find. Oh man,
hey, you could be facing Stetson Bennett. He might be the starter on December the 21st out in SoFi.
Yeah, dude, Stafford doesn't care anymore. I mean, I'm just kidding.
I'm trying to go to that game. That game's in L.A.
He, Stafford's probably. Oh man. Good luck in L.A., Dev. I just spent a week there, and look, it's a fine place. But if there was ever a city that is not on the beans, it is Los Angeles, certified.
That's kind of my plan. I just want to walk around and just indulge in all the weird stuff that they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure I'll eat like an avocado burger or something. Yeah. It's probably just all just different. So
I mean, as long as you're into, like, when anybody tells you about something they enjoy, instead of them actually talking about the product or the service itself, if your thing is like you just want to hear what celebrity uses it, then then that's the city for you. Like, somebody was telling me, you got to go see this barber. And I'm like, I got a pretty solid guy. I love my guy. And he's like, Machine Gun Kelly goes there. I'm like, I mean, if MGK goes, well, of course. I don't even know I barely know who Machine Gun Kelly is, and yet you're trying to sell me to get my hair cut simply because this guy cut his hair.
He doesn't have a great cut either.
I don't know. It's just I loathe.
Machine Gun Kelly don't have a great anything. I mean, there's nothing about his appearance that you could say, yo, that's great. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen more ass on a snake.
It's true, but again, he did get Megan Fox, and the one Machine Gun Kelly song I have heard, Jake, was Me, You, and Rivers coming back from one of the trips that one time, and it was the Eminem diss track, which was surprisingly good.
Yeah. That was like 2 years ago, yeah. That's
like,
the last time I probably thought about him, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Well, until I needed to get my
worst thing he ever did was getting that little temporary scuffle with Eminem. That really hurt his rap career, dude. I mean, it just did.
Well, didn't he become then like a pop punk guy though, and like he won Grammys and brought that back or something? I thought
he was already a pop punk guy. I thought because that was his whole style.
Oh, okay. I thought he was a rapper that switched over, like how Kid Rock used to be a rapper back in the day before switching over to rock, I guess. So we're feeling very bullish on the Saints, feeling good there. Dev, did you go bow fishing for the first time? What is this about?
Yeah, have y'all ever been bow fishing, man?
I've been one time, and it was one of the most fun nights I've ever had.
For me, it was top 10 nights of my life.
Yeah.
I'm serious, bro. That was, I mean, it's just something about it, bro. And then just, blaring the music, and you just got a bow. I don't know what it is about the bow.
It's ancient.
Ancient. Yeah, it's just something about, you just feel more like a man.
It feels earned. Feels way more earned than fishing does.
Yeah, dude. Just using the bow for anything. Using it for security, using it to fish. I mean, if you can master the bow, bro, you more of a man, and that's what I felt like. It was just awesome, bro. And it was one of those situations where, and you know how it is with fishing, you may not catch something for the first 2-3 hours.
Yep.
And I just stuck one right in the pressure point, right at the end. Stuck them right in the pressure point, dude, right here. You know what I'm saying? Right where you want to hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? It stuck them right there, and that was it, bro. I couldn't even like talk. It was so exciting that I was just like riled up like a dude. You know what I'm saying?
I had a very similar feeling where I was just whiffing all night. I'm getting drunker and drunker and more angry at myself. And same deal. Just got one. Got that one redfish at the end. But it was a big boy, and I felt like, you know, I was a conquering hero coming back to my family, like, I provide. Look at me. I'm an outdoorsman. I have slain this wild beast, and now we will cook it and eat it for sustenance. It's a good feeling. It's an all-time good feeling.
It is, but if you haven't been, if anybody on set hasn't been bow fishing, man, you got to go. It's absolutely
I can imagine Mario
incredible.
is not. We'll see if during the break maybe if he's been bow fishing. Hey, Dev, that banana pudding that you had on last Monday, I don't know if it's because I was hungry, but it looked like the perfect banana pudding. I got to know, because you didn't really get into great detail about it. How was that banana pudding last week?
It was fantastic, and what makes it better is that it's just in a Shell station. You know,
Was that the one where you could customize like your own drink at the end? He's like, no, you got to see this.
Yeah, I think that was like alligator ice or something like that. That was an interesting Shell station.
It was. It had a little bit of everything.
You just can't. You don't see that anywhere else, man. It's just like, and it was all fresh food, man. And you know, you could tell because some gas stations you go in there, you may have one person working behind the thing, right? You got like 3 people overseeing this gas station buffet. You know, that's when you know it's about to go down.
Yeah, I mean that's a legitimate kitchen at that point.
I mean, there was a chef was in there.
Deb, did you get any of the fights this weekend or anything? Did you watch any of the Nate Diaz, what was it, Jake Paul shenanigans?
Yeah, I watched it. Kind of went exactly how I would have guessed. I mean, the fact of the matter is, bro, if the fight would have went to death, Nate Diaz wins because
he could if he stopped.
Can't kill that guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's exactly like I was listening to the commentators and you could tell that they didn't watch a lot of Nate Diaz prior fights because they were like, man, he in the second round, they're like, man, he looks done. He looks dead. I'm like, dude, this is how this dude rolls, bro. Like he will literally just get. It's like Rocky. You know what I'm saying? He's like the closest thing to Rocky but he'll start laying them on you, and that's what he kind of started to do. But you know, Jake Paul knows what he's doing when he picks his opponents, bro. He knows that he's going to pick a guy that he can win in a 10-round fight, you know?
Yeah, but also makes sense to move the needle, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Now, that said, he did agree. I don't know, it's not full yet, but they're supposed to do MMA next, right?
Yeah, he agreed to do it for $10 million, but we'll see if he does it. I mean, that is an automatic L.
I mean, right away. Like the most painful of L's that you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, I mean, Nate's even like, in this round I could have done this, and that round I could have done that. Like, okay, you want to do it, that's fine.
Even at the end, dude, he did the little fake guillotine just to troll him a little bit.
That move right there, if you've never done MMA, that move right there, they'll get you with that in 20 seconds every single time. That's what would happen if they do fight in the octagon. He's just going to make $10 million quick dollars because Nate Diaz is going to choke him out.
Yeah, I wonder if Nate would kind of protract it out like Jake seemed to do to him. Hey, are you excited about this Johnny Football documentary coming out tomorrow?
Oh yeah, no doubt. And Netflix just needs something, you know. And that's my favorite stuff to watch on Netflix is like the Untold, you know. Like I don't know if y'all saw the American Gladiators one.
Yeah, I heard it was good.
Was that 30 for 30? What was that?
They had two separate ones. Netflix had one and ESPN had one.
But I'm telling you, the Netflix one was better, man. The ESPN one was all about the guy that owned it. I was like, dude, get this cheese ball out of here, you know? and so I watched the Netflix one, man. They really went in depth about all the characters, man. That was an awesome documentary. And I'm expecting the Johnny Manziel one to be pretty cool, too, because, I mean, all we really know about Johnny Manziel is, you know, he screwed it all up, you know? So I just want to hear what he did, you know?
I mean, there's a story. Yeah, there's something interesting there. I'll wait for reviews. If it reviews well, I think I'll dive in. I don't know if there's enough for me to care too much off the bat. We talked about this in a little bit during Weekend Winners, too, but how about Post Malone? Is this about the Magic card, I'm assuming?
Well, kind of like Mario said, he's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I love Post Malone. I want his music to be better in 2023. That's all, he's in that, oh man, how do you explain? Like Pitbull, you know what I'm saying? Pitbull, like he's in that universal making music for the whole world thing right now. Yeah. That's cool, making money. But I mean, if you want me to tell you what I think about his music right now, I think it's absolutely mids.
Oh, wow.
Compared to what he came out with those first couple years, dude. I mean, think about it, bro. I mean, Mario, you want to back me up here? You like the music?
Yeah, no, I agree. Music-wise, he's definitely declined a little bit. But, hey, keeping himself relevant, so a good spot to improve there for him.
Well, music-wise, you all think he's declined stylistically, but certainly not economically, right? I mean, he's got more hits than ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Devin's whole point, though. Like,
yeah.
Economically, he's fine, but...
Hey, the WWE can make they've made more money now than ever, right? Yeah. The product sucks.
True. I always thought he was going to be a one-hit wonder after White Iverson, but I was just pumped that he gave Anthony Davis a shout-out.
Yeah, and he made that on SoundCloud, which was an awesome come-up.
He made White Iverson on SoundCloud?
Oh, yeah, dude. That was a SoundCloud song, dude.
Wow, Shades of Soulja Boy. That's awesome.
Somebody found it, and that's why people still use SoundCloud to this day, because they could just get found randomly on there,
Look, so how do you feel that it doesn't matter. We don't need to go too far down the post hole. Is this true, Dev? On this day, Barry Bonds broke Hank Aaron's record?
Yeah, allegedly. On this day. And also on this day.
No, allegedly.
Yeah, also.
Maybe suspiciously?
No, allegedly. Allegedly he broke it, but some eyes he didn't, so.
So you're an asterisk, man?
I mean, my man Hammer and Hank's got the record.
Okay. Is this because you're a Braves fan, or is this because steroids?
Braves fan.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, this is obnoxious, dude, that this guy's not in the Hall of Fame. And then just I'm gonna die, and Sammy Sosa isn't in the Hall of Fame. I mean, one of the greatest baseball names ever, bro. I mean, come on, man.
It's on baseball for not policing,
And the pitchers were doing it as
That's what I'm saying. If everybody's juicing, it's on you. We're not going to hold people out the hall. We don't get to play sanctimonious gatekeeper. It is the height of absurdity that Bonds and Sosa aren't in.
But then some people get in that admitted it, but they admitted it. So wait, because they admitted they did it.
Who cares?
They get it. They get into the hall, but the guys that still are out there saying they didn't, but we think they did.
I mean, granted, Bonds probably should.
Yeah, but
they really cherry picked who they decided to just never let in. I mean, it's dumb, dude. Like it doesn't. And baseball profited off of that the whole time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
they saved baseball. Sosa
it was
McGuire.
the most baseball that I watched in my life were the old Sosa McGuire races. And I grew up loving Barry Bonds and sure, his head grew a few inches.
Oh, Pirates Barry Bonds and Giants Barry Bonds are not distant cousins.
But he was such a badass, dude. If you threw to him, it was going to be a home run. There was a point where they just had to walk him. Like, there wasn't another choice.
And they don't even show, McCovey Cove balls anymore, because I don't even know how many are going in there. But, he hit a ball in McCovey Cove like it was his job, because it was. Yeah, it was in McCovey Cove every time.
Dev, RB&R Day today. Where we going? We got any new merch? What's the deal?
Going somewhere down here. Not gonna travel today, so somewhere down here. Who knows, man? I might go somewhere nice. I haven't been somewhere real nice where I sat down and stuff in a while, so I might do something like that. New merch. I'm gonna drop a Saints shirt next week, or I don't want to say Saints, but a black and gold rendition next week.
Chill out, lawyers. Ready, relax. It's a little black and
gold. I don't play none of that. I don't put no Florida Lees on my stuff, and I don't do none of that stuff. But and also last thing, happy birthday, Charlize Theron, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Sidney Crosby, and Michael Shannon, bro. Shout out Michael Shannon. What a great role he played in Boardwalk Empire, bro.
Did you ever see Shape of Water? Academy Award winner?
Wait, what's that?
Did you ever see the movie Shape of Water? Where
No.
the girl falls in love with the merman? Well, okay, check it out. If you want peak Michael Shannon villain, like the Boardwalk Empire villain, but on steroids, watch Shape of Water. Won Best Picture, Dev. So this is a pretty good film that I'm giving you a little lead on here. Go check it out. And then go to htmsports.com/shop and get all your Beans-related merchandise. Dev, thank you so much, man.
All right, y'all take care.
Spread lines. Hey, do remind you, feel a little under the weather, to head over to Patient Plus Urgent Care, patientplusuc.com. Shout out to the Patel family for providing such quality health care throughout all of Baton Rouge. Look, they got new facilities opening up constantly. There's one right by next to you. Just put Patient Plus in whatever Maps app you use, and, well, you can go in. Walk-ins always welcome, right? You got the digital profile system, where if you actually go to the website, you can start it there. Or you just do it when you're there, and the next time you go in, it's just a touch of a button on your phone. Any COVID tested, cold testing, they got it all, okay? And have y'all, dude, this summer cold, my family's been kind of down and out for a week now, and Patient Plus helped them to get right. So patientplusuc.com, where you will see the difference. Go to Patient Plus Urgent Care today. More OTB next.
OTB, OT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Join me for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Football. Saints and LSU, we're talking about it. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Shout out Gavin Dugas and Dylan Cruz.
Yep.
Who both homer in their second game, I believe. It was definitely Cruz's second game. I couldn't find whether or not it was Dugas's second game, but with in a little single A baseball in his first at bat of the night.
Fredericksburg Nationals.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Beat the Salem Red Sox 8-5.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why Cruz goes yard in his first at bat, it's a 3-2 count. He sends it right left of center. Excellent job there. Very familiar to LSU fans. And then later in the game, down 5-2, Gavin Dugas has a solo shot of his own, and they come back to win the game. Shout out to the fellas getting it done on the single A level already.
Yeah, that was a weekend winner that we didn't get to, but nice job there. Always good to see those guys succeed. And very interested to see what Gavin Dugas and what maybe his pro future looks like, because we feel like we know what Dylan Cruz's pro future will look like.
Yeah.
Real quick, from Brett McMurphy about
McMurphy's always got the CFB news.
7 minutes ago. How committed was Pac-12 to staying together? Following last Tuesday's meeting with Commissioner George Kliavkoff, a Pac-12 president contacted a Big 12 president and asked if Big 12 could take all 9 of us, except for Oregon State and Washington State.
Except for Oregon State?
Yeah, like what did they do to y'all? Like
they didn't even do anything. They're victims of circumstance.
Could y'all take
they're just
all
kind of,
9 of us?
They're just kind of stuck in the middle for some unknown reason. Shout out Rondé Barber, Don Coryell, Chuck Howley, Joe Klecko, Darrell Revis, Ken Riley, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, and DeMarcus Ware, all now NFL Hall of Famers.
I love Zach Thomas getting in. I grew up watching the Dolphins, always loved his style. I mean, obviously he was undersized as far as height or whatever, but, man, he was a baller. I mean, he hit so hard. I told the boys the story the other day. It was my first NFL block. I look up, it's 30 ISO. We're in gun, and I'm, like, counting over. Thomas? And they're like, Mike, 54. I'm like, where's oh, man. Zach Thomas is 54. You're not getting lower than Zach Thomas.
Yes. What'd you do?
It actually, I remember it, very vividly, the 9 technique. You had a 9, and then I believe you had a 4-eye. Well, they crashed down. And so on ISO, I bounced it back out. Yeah. So he was overflowing. So I just had to take him on with my inside shoulder. So it was more of a just seal him off.
Yeah, but suck it, Zach Thomas.
But I didn't have to take him on like a full ISO in the A gap. It ended up being like kind of a down around. Yeah,
that's cool. Still got him. Block completed.
Technically. Yeah.
Let's go. All right, when we get back, let's do Ask the Bench. Brought by Cole Curse Light Visit here at Sons of Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Suite.
OTB OT.
Go to allstartoyota.BatonRouge.com, allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com. They're in my personal Hall of Fame because they got me the murdered out mini. Well, actually, how it worked was I knew I was having multiple kids. I was like, I need a minivan. This is years ago now. And but I said, okay, if I'm going to do the minivan thing, I want to make it a bit different, right? And so I said, I want murdered out everything. I want black interior, black exterior. What I didn't think of, Jake, was actually the black wheels. And them, knowing me, went the step beyond, threw the black wheels on that thing, and the rest is history. You can get that same service. You can customize your vehicle in the same way. You can get exactly what you and your family needs at the best price possible at All Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
Yeah, go to the website like T-Bob said. You can customize that vehicle however you want it. You can, in fact, take things away. If you're like, I'm not going to use that feature and it's going to change the price just a little bit, you can actually take things off. You can add whatever that you want. They give you that ability over on the website, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
It was a humid day barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. LSU back on the practice field, and we'll speak to the players for the first time this fall camp. We'll let you know what they said. Join us Monday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Remember, go to Rejuve Medical if you want to feel younger. RejuveMedical.com. Restore me, refuel me, Rejuve me. HRT is there. Metabolization optimization. If maybe you think the shot is for you, go explore it. Let them draw your labs. See what your body needs. Jake, I think I'm going to start getting some B12 shots from there. You get him once a week, and it's just supposed to give you a lot more energy. And who doesn't want more energy?
If I went in, I might need something different, but the whole point is somebody can go in and have something different than the next guy, but you're going to have something. So you won't know until you get that consultation set up.
Oh, look at this. RejuveMedical.com. RejuveMedical.com. Do some help keep on your body. It's still good and young, guys. Hold the Mayo says going fishing with the Paris Giambi in September. Okay.
Nice.
Remember who that is? Kay Blosso, dude. How about our guy? Ask the bench. Does the Zuckerberg-Elon Cage fight actually happen? No. I think I read that. Is Elon getting like some sort of neck surgery or chest scans or something like that? There was something that I came across on the internet, but you can never trust,
That's unfortunate. I was looking forward to that fight.
The internet. Also, Zuck's putting in the work. Elon is still like Zuck's empire is made, right? And so he's kind of entering the body perfection point of his billionaire time. I feel like thanks to X, Elon is still like very much in the fight right now, and Starlink and everything else. Ask the bench. I agree, Mac. This hat is fire. Shout out America and the Grateful Dead. Weekend winner, Swedish bikini team. ABBA, and I don't understand, but I think you need to get the sheriff out there. Weekend loser, probably Tim Anderson.
I'm just watching. Somebody put the sonic rings around him getting knocked out.
The worst part was after he got knocked on the ground, you're thinking, oh, maybe he just got knocked on the ground. But then as he's walking off and he's like, he's like stumbling and like tripping. It's like, oh, man.
With the way he's squared up, every person I've ever seen square up like that always ends up on their back.
Yeah.
They just do. Like when you square up and your hands are that high, it's like, I don't know if you've been in this situation before.
Yeah, he looked like he was doing a little too much.
Yeah, he went to sleep quick. I mean, the fact that his hat didn't fall off, though, impressive.
Ask the bench, vacation question. Like to Florida for the extreme sunburn challenge and livestock licking contest. I couldn't that. I don't know. That didn't even make any sense. I don't know.
Vacation's kind of over. Football season.
Yes, sir.
Ask the bench, are we gonna have an OTB LSU tailgate? Maybe so.
Yeah. I'm free on Saturdays now.
I mean, I watch every game at
you got the whole
at Don Juan. If you ever want to just come watch it there and get freaking real crazy.
Actually, I was thinking of tailgating, then going to the game. You can go the first half.
Ask the bench. Will there ever be indoor college football stadiums? Have you forgotten the Loud House? I say Illinois or Syracuse. I always get confused.
Syracuse. Yeah, I think that's their nickname. It's Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
That's Syracuse.
Syracuse, because Illinois doesn't play. Have you even North Dakota stated?
Yeah.
That's right.
Idaho.
I watched that in
got
the
like a
playoffs
little
last
airplane
year.
hangar.
Minnesota used to.
They used to play where the Vikings did.
Yeah.
So now they don't. No, they have an outdoor stadium, and it looks miserable a lot of times.
Shout out Cold Course Light, Busy Hearts, Blue Moon Lights, guys. So happy to be back. And, more OTB tomorrow. See you then.
OTB.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected,